Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on, babe. Two Dum Yinzers are on. Get the kids out of school. Let's go. Let's go. Chop, chop. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It is episode 915. Welcome back to the show, guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today is the official start of the Combine, the NFL Combine in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. Just taking an extra minute to get set up here on my end. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the show, guys. Glad to see everybody today. Hope everything is going well for ya. Mike, I hear you rustling around over there. I don't see you though. What's going on with you? There, look at that. Look at that mug. Oh my God, put that back up there for the duration.
Like I had my camera set up all on the wide screen. You can see it the minute we go live. It wanted to have me on my side. I'm like, are you kidding me? I spent a good 10 minutes trying to make this look nice on my end, and this is what I get.
I want to know if you could just zoom out a little bit. If you want to, I want to talk about that picture behind you for a couple minutes, because there's some people, Mike, that might be that are a little new that aren't aware of that picture back there. And if you've ever seen the old Victorian style picture sitting behind Mike in the background, I don't know if you could really tell because he has another sign in front of it. But the two kids, the two kids in that poster are actually me and Mike. Mike is the little bald boy on the right, and I'm the little bearded girl on the left. Again, if you're new, you might not be aware of that. It's been around for about 5 years, and it's finally made its way back to the air. But there it is, guys. Mike is the little bald kid in that picture. So if you ever wonder what that little bald kid is doing back there, that is Mike. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad to see you, Mike. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm a little depressed because every time I look at that picture, it's like, my God, I once had a beard with color.
And you know what? I get depressed as well because in that picture I have an all dark beard, and that was only 5 years ago. Less than 5 years ago.
It's very depressing. Like, this is like I'm going to blame Derpy because before we met him, I had a full head of hair. You had a full dark beard. I had a full dark beard. So really, this is all Derpy's fault. The way we look.
You know what? I don't doubt it. There's no other real explanation, but
There's not really, no.
yeah. Afternoon, everybody. Welcome, John. Welcome, Tortilla. Tortilla says, "Babe, wake up! The two Dum Yinzers are live." John says, "Ryan's technical skills truly amaze me." You know what? Mine too, man. Mine too. They truly, honestly do, guys. But you know what? It's always the weirdest shit. It really is always the weirdest shit on here because I keep getting this thing. Remember when I was having issues with my computer, Mike? I couldn't stop the window from keep popping up on my screen just randomly. And then I got it to go away for about 6 months. Well, it was doing it again this morning. So I mean, it's just oddity shit that really I have no control over, that I just trying to achieve on the fly and try to get over these humps on the fly. But Mike, there it is again, issues as always. But you know what? That doesn't stop us. We're here for episode 915. It hasn't stopped us to this point, and it's never going to stop us going forward. So welcome back, guys. This is the Two Dum Yinzers. We are blowing through the Steelers off season, working our way back to the 2026 NFL football season on our Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot going on right now, guys. I do want to just catch RB right off the top here. He says Cam Hayward, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin in discussions with NBC. Steelers are heavily meeting with high-end defensive linemen in Indianapolis. You know what? I'm seeing that as well. We're going to look at some of the interviews as of today. We're going to look at the schedule as this plays out with the combine over the next couple of days. Of course, today is officially day one. We're going to see linebackers, defensive linemen, and place kickers today. Everybody's getting signed in. They're getting measured, going through all the things that they got to get through to compete and perform in the combine. And that is all going on right now. And again, today is linebackers, defensive linemen, and place kickers. Tomorrow is defensive backs, tight ends. Saturday is quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And Sunday is offensive linemen. If you're keeping track, we'll bring that up again throughout the show in case you are wondering what the schedule looks like as of right now. This is how the combine is going to play out in Indianapolis over the weekend. Again, today, guys, is linebackers, defensive linemen, and place kickers. Tomorrow, defensive backs and tight ends. Sunday, quarterbacks. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. And then on Sunday, again, offensive linemen. So a lot of things to keep an eye on, guys. Again, we're going to go over the lists that the Steelers had meetings with everybody, the formals, the informals, all kind of things going on we're going to get into today. Some scoop here with the Steelers. A lot of things going on, guys. Welcome to the show. This is episode 915. Welcome back, everybody. Let me grab some more on the board here as we do get started. Mike, I don't want to miss anything today. I'm going to go right here to Little Vanilla. That's right. That's Little Vanilla back there in the background. Just little Vanilla. Little
Vanilla.
Mark Malone. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Mark Malone. Mark Malone says mine's damn near white too. Also, I do want to say welcome to Kurt. Welcome to the show. RB says Cam Hayward, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin is in discussions with NBC. Steelers are heavily meeting with. I did read that a little bit this morning about the NBC talk, maybe about a little work in the broadcasting field, I guess you could say. Vegas, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Vegas from Las Vegas. Vegas says Cam isn't going to last forever. Good point. Just Learning says, I think if Cam plays, it's his last year. How much more can this dude have in the tank? I gotta wonder, Mike, how much more does Cam Hayward possibly have in the tank?
I don't know, and I don't know if I'm willing to run it back because you never know. Like if he's gonna hit the wall, and that's the end, and you're gonna be stuck eating a bigger contract. Now, if it's just a little, like I said, little sweeteners mixed into his current deal, I'm okay with it. But if they try to sign him for another 2-3 years, I think that would be a waste. But if you keep him on his current contract with little sweeteners mixed in, little incentives, I'm all for it. Because if he can play the way he did last year, sign me up again. I still think it was a little less than what it was made out to be, but he was still a very impactful player.
Yeah, as you said, I think just one day we're going to wake up, we're going to turn on a Steeler game, we're going to be so dissatisfied. I mean, people are going to say, well, you know what? He's still doing his job. He's serviceable. He's a big guy. He's a Steeler, blah, blah, blah. blah, 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 blah. But I truly, honestly think, Mike, if it doesn't happen this year, hopefully, like I said, he's got to be at the end of his road. And as I said, broadcasting has probably been calling him. I don't think it's any surprise. So, he'll make the transition just fine. But at the end of the day, we have to figure out how to keep this team afloat. We have to figure out how to get this team back to being afloat. Again, we've stayed, pretty. It's been pretty gray. Excuse me, for the last so many years. And again, we're trying, after rebuilding our coaching staff, not only rebounding from that, kind of finding new ways to do things. We also want to try to bob back up above the water, Mike, as we do move forward. So a lot of things down the pike for the Steeler team, a lot of pieces, maybe that you might not have thought that we needed this time last year. We're finding out that we need this time this year. So a lot of things going on. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Glad to see everybody today. It is Thursday. It's the Thursday installment of the Two Dum Yinzers. Vegas is singing At the End of the Road. The end of the road.
Oh, God.
It's
never give Ryan a
natural.
Thing.
You belong to me. Cam belongs to broadcasting. What else we got today, Mike? All kind of things. As I said, I do have the list of formal meetings, informal meetings, the combine starting today, 3 to 8, if you're going to want to pay close attention to that. That is going on today, guys. So much stuff at the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me get into a few of these topical stories, Mike, some top layer stories, some things that aren't necessarily involved with the combine. Just a few things that I did grab along the way. This is from Jerry Dulac, Mike, a local beat reader. We know Jerry. Writer, we know Jerry. He says this: Steelers got their money's worth from Patrick Queen. The chatter is not coming from the team. One of the late talking points here in Pittsburgh is it PQ's time to go? Did he live up to his standard? Did he live up to what you thought Patrick Queen was going to be? The whole controversy. Would Baltimore have given him up if he was even worth all that? Should they made a bigger deal because he went to the Steelers? We were saying, well, maybe he just wasn't as good as we thought he was going to be. But this was by Jerry Dulac, Mike. He writes this: the Steelers got their money's worth from Patrick Queen. Chatter is not coming from the team.
Anymore with Dulac, it's 50-50.
You're right. I agree. And I like Jerry. Don't get me wrong. I like Jerry.
I like him too. Very knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
But it's very hit or miss with him. And I think this is going to be PQ's last season with Pittsburgh. I don't think he's going to be a cut or trade candidate. So he's going to be out there. I think he can still be a productive player in this team, and he's still youngish. He's not in his 30s, so that makes him a young pup on this team. But yeah, I don't anticipate him going anywhere.
You know what? I think at this point they think that he's solid. I think at this point, I think Peyton Wilson actually led the league in tackles, or the team in tackles. I'm sorry, but PQ did his share of tackling as well. A lot of missed tackles. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, they probably feel like he's going to be okay. And I don't think that after reading this. And everything that we do need along the way, Mike, maybe Patrick Queen isn't on his way out this year. Again, we're going to be looking at free agency here in just about 2 weeks, starting on the 9th with the tampering period, and then again on March 11 with the official date to start free agency. So many of those answers are going to start to be questions are going to start to be answered, Mike. And again, Patrick Queen, as far as Jerry Dulac is concerned, is probably going to be back. And he says the chatter is not from the Steelers itself. It's from the fan base in the social media and the media. So do what you want with that, guys. But that is what is being said right now in town here. Let me jump on the board. I don't want to get too far back today on the terrible board. Let me scoot this over here and jump on the board and say this. Somber, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Somber on the terrible board. As always, my man, he says this: most missed tackles in the NFL. Enough said. And I couldn't agree more. And that was our argument all year. This guy just misses a lot of tackles. But here we are, and we will see. Just learning. What's up, brother? He says this: I think guys like Queen with the old defensive coordinator hampered him maybe now with the new defensive coordinator, put him on the right position to succeed. And that's a good point, just learning, because again, at the end of the day, we don't know what we're going to get with this coaching staff, but in theory, it's a whole different coaching staff. Mike, we should be getting a lot of different, but there was some things that we mentioned yesterday that it seems like they also want to keep some things the same. I don't know how that translate when you're talking about a whole new coaching staff. And so again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that again later today. Who's the true face Again,
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, of course, I gotta get this damn hair on my tongue. Mike Tomlin was the face of this team for many, many years. Of course, after
Yeah.
Ben left, it basically left Mike Tomlin to be the face. Now, after Mike Tomlin does walk away after this past postseason, who's the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is it Omar Khan? Is the face of the Steelers back to being a Rooney? I just don't know, Mike, but it's going to be answered because, again, with this new coaching staff coming in, we're going to see if what actually changes and what actually doesn't. And then I think we can start to put those pieces together. What was Mike Tomlin? What was Omar Khan? What was, and start to see where the true power is on this team. I know that John always argues on the board that it's a Rooney, and, and I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that, we're going to find out answers this year that we might have questions to, Mike. And again, if things don't change with an entirely different coaching staff, that's going to leave a lot of questions out there, guys, for us to look for the answers to. And I'm excited. I'm excited to find out what the answer to that is, Mike. And again, I think we'll be able to start to see how that plays out this year at free agency, this year at the draft, and going into camp and training and all these different kind of things. So Tortilla is saying Will Howard is the face of the league. But as far as the Steelers go right now, who is the face? Who is the face of this football team?
That is the good question. Who's going to be the new driving force? Because everyone always said Tomlin was the driving force. Is it going to be Mike McCarthy? Is it going to be Omar Khan, Andy Weidel? Or is it going to be Rooney saying these are the kind of people I want, this kind of team I want, go out and get that for my team. So it's going to be interesting. This draft, this whole free agency process, it's something we haven't. It's going to be a different process a whole different process than we have seen in the last 18 years. We've kind of been able to figure out what they're going to do. This year, we don't know. And is Omar Khan going to be given even more freedom? Because he saw he was given more latitude to make trades up and down the draft, go out and spend in free agency. So it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Absolutely. A lot of as John says, Omar Khan has zero personality. Milk toast. You know what? I got to be honest with you. After hearing him talk, because he doesn't say a lot, he stays silent back there. He's got his egghead, everything going on, and then when he talks, it's like, wow, I did not expect that voice to come out of his head. I just didn't, man. It was okay, this is how we're going to run things, and I don't know. I expected a deeper voice. I expected a little bit more of a professionalism to him, but there's really not. It sounds like you're listening to a player that just walked off the field giving an interview. He's a very interesting guy, but again, Mike, since we did the trivia question yesterday, we know that he's been around the NFL since 1997, 1998. Yeah. The guy's a seasoned veteran. He's certainly, in my opinion, a very he's been an active GM, and I got to be honest with you, I like that. I'm a big proponent, Mike, of changes. I like guys that could pull the trigger. Again, you look at teams like New England, it goes from 4-13 to the Super Bowl the following year. While we have been running in place for 10 years, I want change. I think the Steelers need change. And again, sometimes, life isn't perfect. There is going to be risk. Of course, there is going to be downs. But if you want to go up, you got to fight the battle and you got to do the things that you have to do to improve. Otherwise, we're going to continue to run in place. And that's going to be a big question as far as this team goes in the new coaching staff. What's the differences you're going to make to not be a 500 team a little bit better? And again, that's not a bad thing. Again, accomplishments by Mike Tomlin, and I'm not taking any credit away from him, but where does this team go as a whole moving forward, Mike, with the new coaching staff? Those are going to be the questions, and we're here for it. We will be here for every step of the way till we figure them all out, and we're going to talk about them. But go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, don't forget that Seattle was 10-6, and then this year they won the Super Bowl. So it's just key additions in free agency and in the draft can just take you from a team that's been borderline, and springboards you into the elite of the elite.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it almost seems like the last coaching staff went the safe route a lot of the time. And again, I'm not busting his balls because at the end of the day, he never, and it is an accomplishment. As much as we hate hearing it at this point, the non-losing season is an accomplishment. And it seems like once he found a happy, a comfort zone, the team stayed in that area. Again, I don't know how much that had to do with Mike Tomlin. I don't know how much that had to do with the prior GM. But again, that's the way it felt to me, Mike. And what I'm seeing around the league, contrary to that, is you got to be active. You have to make moves. You have to get guys in, get guys in, get old guys out, make the moves that you got to make on a year-to-year basis to keep you in contention in this NFL. It's a very competitive league. It's probably parity now better than it's ever been. And we need to get back in the cycle of being a team that could possibly end up in the Super Bowl. Again, last year we were talking Kansas City's are going to be in the Super Bowl. Buffalo's are going to be in the Super Bowl. Maybe even Baltimore's are going to be in the Super Bowl. Last year, what we weren't saying is the 4-13 New England Patriots were going to be in the Super Bowl. Last year, some people like Seattle. And once you added the quarterback, I know a lot of people that did jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like these teams that were sitting back last year, again, they made moves that got them to the Super Bowl this year. We need to take a page of that book to move us forward. Again, I don't know if we're going to be playing in February this upcoming year. I mean, we'd all love it, of course, but at the end of the day, moves have to be made to even get you to that point. It all starts real soon. Again, Combine today. We're looking at people. We have interviews. We have scouts out there. We're going to be getting ready for free agency in about 2 weeks. And again, the draft in a little less than 2 months. So, Mike, all those questions are going to start to become answered for us as we do move along, trying to figure out how to get this team back to February football. And again, this is no better place to start than now. It's fresh. It's now. Make a name. We got new coaches, new assistants. Let's see what this team could do, Mike. This is why we're here. All starts today with the Combine, defensive linemen, linebackers, place kickers, all through the weekend. Mike, I'm here for it, brother.
Oh, I'm here for it too. I can't wait. Like I've been saying all week, man. I want to see I'm hoping this coaching staff has a new philosophy going forward in the way they're going to build the team. But like the way Omar Khan was saying, like they like the are going to see a similar philosophy for the team of this coaching staff and last coaching staff. It's kind of like God, or is it one of those here we go again type of situations? You know, where we're going to run out Aaron Rodgers, we're going to get all these other new pieces, and then there's our quarterback Aaron Rodgers, just throwing checkdowns all game long.
Mm-hmm. Also, that is, Mike, in regards to that. Let's talk about a couple other nice headlines I've seen here regarding players around the league and possibly doing transactions abroad concerning the Steelers. Let me go to this one next, Mike. I'm going to go right here. Teams are making trade calls for Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. Mike, do you recommend? Let me ask you this. There's no secret that we need wide receivers. Of course, we went out the last 2 years with literally one professional wide receiver in our room. Mike, let me ask you this. When you guys got guys like DJ Moore, you got guys even like AB over in Philadelphia, certainly names that popped up that could be very, very serviceable for the Steelers. Even yesterday, we had to talk about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Mike, do you prefer to go this route, or do you prefer to go in and get yourself a couple cheap, young wide receivers that have the world ahead of them? Do you suggest maybe we go 1-1? Let's get maybe a guy that is proven. Let's bring in maybe a rookie that we like. What direction do you think we got to go at wide receiver? Because again, there is so many things about that wide receiver room that it was very wrong in the past couple of years, Mike. It needs fixed. You shouldn't even have talks about playoff wins until you at least get yourself another wide receiver of NFL caliber.
Yeah, Tortilla kind of stole my answer. I was going to say yes. I want to go out and trade for a guy and also draft a guy.
Maybe like a half and half. Get yourself one of each.
Yeah, that way. So DJ Moore, he's signed up for through 2029. His contract ends. The values are like 28.5 cap hits. But if you trade for him and like this year it doesn't really work out, his contract is set up perfectly to get out of too. So this would the production that you can get out of him. I think DJ Moore is a really good receiver. And even if he doesn't pan out this contract, you can cut him. It's a Omar Khan type of contract and player to get in. I would love to have DJ Moore. I wanted him 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know you did.
I was big on getting DJ Moore. So I would love to get him. It's all going to be, what Chicago is going to want back, because he's a kind of a big part of what they're doing up there. And
Absolutely.
they have a very nice offense.
Add a
And
couple more pieces, Mike. That team is winning playoff games. I'm telling you,
yeah,
Caleb.
yeah.
You know me. I wasn't sold on Caleb at first. I thought this kid
Yeah.
from USA with the painted fingernails. He's not.
Yeah.
He's going to win them guys a lot of football
Yep.
games. I watched him. I watched him this year. The kid's got game, man. And again, in that division, it's not ever going to be easy. Now with Detroit playing better football nowadays, Green Bay is always a team to be reckoned with, and Minnesota up and down. So Chicago, watch for them now to raise up the board in the NFC North a little bit.
Yeah, and like I would take this guy. He's still very productive. His receiving yards went down, but they're spreading the ball out more. But 682 yards, 6 touchdowns on 50 catches. Those numbers have, like, the catches went down, the yardage went down, but the production was still there where it mattered in touchdowns. And like I said, they're spreading the ball more and more out there in Chicago, where he didn't have to be the bulk guy. But if he's one of the guys who falls by the wayside up there, I'd take him. Yeah, he's going to be 29 years old. His contract's not for that long. You get him, you draft 1 or 2 more wide receivers in first round, third round, depending on what draft capital it would take to get DJ Moore. I would be all for it.
You know what I think? Again, a lot of interesting messages on the board, guys. Do stick around. I'm going to touch on all these. I'm seeing a lot of things that we're going to talk about today. A lot of interesting things that I'd like to address. I do want to say welcome to some of the newer names, guys, as well. Do stick around. We're going to get into all your messages here real soon, Mike. But I agree with you. I think maybe going 1-1 might be the way to go, and then maybe get you a back end receiver, somebody like along the lines of just a little bit later in the draft, not too far, but somebody that may have some upside to them. But at this point, we got to bring in real receivers. We got to get NFL receivers. The Scotties. I mean, it's a fun story. Whatever. The guy won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Guess what? Who didn't?
Exactly.
Except for James Harrison. And
Randy,
did Randy Moss? He lost as well, didn't he?
Randy lost.
So again, anybody that's of any value, they did not win with Tom Brady. But the guys like Scotty Miller and even Ben Skoranek, you could love him for the grittiness. But when you're talking about wide receivers in the NFL, these guys certainly don't even Mike. They don't make the list. And again, people could say, well, this is good about that. But you know what? Look at the results. Look at the results. The results aren't good, and that's what it comes down to, guys.
Yeah.
Let me get to the next one, Mike, here. Again, we're going to talk about a couple of these headlines, some transaction headlines possibly around the league, Mike, and then we are going to talk fully about this combine starting today. Again, linebackers, defensive linemen, place kickers today at the combine starting at 3. And then Friday, defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers. And then Sunday, bringing up the rear as always, never getting their respect, the offensive line Sunday, Mike. So that is all going on through the weekend. Thank you for joining us. A lot going on. Let me grab one more. Let me give you one more headline here we'll talk about, and we'll get into some combine talk. Mike, this was said, I read this article this morning. Steelers sound like they are leaving the door wide open for Jonnu Smith. Maybe they know something we don't.
Wide open for him to take his luggage and walk through.
But one thing that I do know, and they were debating yesterday on the board. You know what? Everybody has a sound case, and I didn't see it along with the running back, Mike. Those two players were two that I was really disappointed with this year. Of course, I'm talking about Caleb Johnson in the backfield, Mike. But this right here caught my eye first and foremost. As soon as I opened up the paper today, Mike, the Steelers sound like they are leaving the door wide open for Jonnu Smith, Mike, to return.
It's that time of the year.
If we don't get rid of Jonnu Smith, who are we going to get rid of? And then who's more deserving to get rid of? And you know what? We're probably not going to bring Ciamalo. Ciamalo is probably not coming back, but
Yeah.
I'd like to have him back.
I'd rather re-sign Ciamalo than retain Jonnu Smith. I'd
like to re-sign Ciamalo rather than entertain the idea of Jonnu Smith.
Hey, we're going to entertain letting Jonnu Smith stay so we can trade him for like a 6th round pick. That's kind of what we're talking about here.
Maybe
you want to keep his value up. You want to
Maybe
keep
some of these
talking him
players,
up.
Mike, you're right. Maybe some of these players will be involved in draft day moves, perhaps.
Yeah.
But again, caught my eye first and foremost. And there is one other thing here, Mike. I just want to say ESPN includes DK Metcalf on off-season lists of trade
Yeah.
candidates. I mean, this is something that ESPN does every year. Probably
Yeah.
holds no value or any credence at all. But Mike, ESPN is saying that DK Metcalf he is included and should be included on the off-season list of trade
No.
candidates.
Because what they were basing that off of too, because I saw that and I read the article. It's like, oh well, his guarantees are void, so therefore you can move him easily and doesn't affect your cap space. And they totally neglect the fact that the Steelers said, no, we're going to honor every part of your contract while you're a member of the Steelers. And say what you will about the Steelers, they are, they're not going to turn their back on someone that they said, hey, we're going to pay you as long as you're here. We're going to get you your guaranteed money. Don't worry about it. So no, he's not going anywhere.
I do want to get back on the board, Mike. A lot going on. I do want to say welcome, guys. Thank you for all the messages.
Yes.
Amazing. Again, I can't wait to get to a lot of these. Let me scoot to right here to where my man Big John Stud, middle name Mud, Steeler Freak John. He says this, guys. This is the time of year for speculation for attention. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No two ways about that. Welcome, man. Tortilla says this. My brother Tortilla. Will Howard is the face of the league. You know what? My speculation about this is, people say, well, and he's a 6th round quarterback. And the fact of the matter is we didn't see the guy play. I don't care if the guy was undrafted. You don't know how a guy is going to perform. He could come out and be nobody expected Tom. And again, I hate using Tom Brady because he's the GOAT. But again, he's a 6th round pick, so he's the easy argument. I'm not expecting Will Howard to be Tom Brady, but I'm just saying you can't count on a guy just because people weren't looking for quarterbacks last year. He did win a national championship. It wasn't all on his shoulders. There was a lot that went into that Ohio State championship, of course. But at the end of the day, for all the people that are downing the idea of the guy, I think is insane. Without even seeing him take a single snap with the Steeler helmet on, I think this this football camp is going to speak volumes because, again, we're going to get a look at least a look at him. Beyond that, we'll figure out when we get there, Mike. But the fact that, so many people were saying, well, you got to go get this guy. You got to get this quarterback. Go after the quarterback in the draft. You didn't even look at the guy that just won the national championship. I don't think that's a wise move, Mike. I think that at least fans have to at least get a look at the guy in action before they could make a hypothesis.
And I think the Steelers want to get a good look at him too, because he's one of those guys that can project it into a quality starter in the right system.
And if he's developed,
and that's the key,
that seems to be the problem. That seems to be a problem. I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me just say this one thing.
Fine.
It seems like we're looking for that easy pass. We want the guy that's already pro ready to stick him in there and have a guy ready to win a Super Bowl. Mike, you know how unlikely that is?
It's hard. It's
to
really
develop
hard.
A quarterback to get there is more of a likely situation, more likely scenario. So why isn't that given more attention? People want to get, they want that quarterback that's going to get in there, lead the team to February, and all is going to be dandy the way that Ben Roethlisberger did. I think that, again, Mike, look around. That's not a very likely scenario. And again, it's more likely to get the guy that we have or somebody else, develop them and get them to that point, Mike. What say you?
Yeah, I have no problem letting quarterbacks sit for a while if they're not 100% ready to go. Especially if I'm investing a lot of draft capital into a quarterback's. Excuse me. You will see guys that will come in and then they have the tools and they shit the bed because they're thrown into the wolves, and other guys that sit back for a year or two, can light the league on fire. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He didn't start his rookie year. He was the 10th overall pick. And look at him now. He was the fastest quarterback to the 3 Super Bowls. So there's the benefits to letting a guy sit and develop, because we're seeing it a lot now. These college quarterbacks that are coming in, they're not pro ready. That's just the name of the game anymore. The college coaches are doing what they need to do just to get them to win in their system and their system only. And, your development be damned. So I have no problem letting Will Howard sit and learn, and while drafting another quarterback, even in a higher round, having him sit and develop and learn. Because by at some point you're going to find someone who's going to be able to run your offense and be a competent NFL quarterback that's going to get you over the hump. And I keep going back to it. Last year, like ex quarterbacks that break down quarterbacks, they're saying Will Howard has the potential to be a not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but a quarterback that can manage the game and win you games if you put him in the right system. And can Mike McCarthy be that coach? Could his system be that coach, or could his system be that system? We don't know, but there's no harm in finding out because at least you know. At least you know.
All right, let's get back on the board. Lots going on here. Somber says we have no face. We're like a we're like a demogorgon. Also, Vegas says this. That would be great if Will played so well for us that he ends up being the face of the NFL. I mean, that would be fantastic, but we'll never know because the guy. Again, this July is going to tell a lot. We will see, and I can't wait. Again, he deserves a shot. He gave number 2 a shot many times. And again, people can argue and debate, but hey, he's not a professional starting quarterback. You got to at least give the guy a shot. We will see how that looks in July. John says, okay, we did get that one. Tater, welcome to the terrible board on the show today. Just Learning says, who's okay? I was wondering what this was coming from. Tater says this, who was the face of the Browns? Who was the face of the Browns, Tater? And then he put Vegas put up a mascot of the poop, the shit emoji con. Let's see. Tortilla says Con looks like he'll send you a Nissan. He'll sell you a Nissan Altima for 30% interest. Exactly. Aaron Jade. There it is, Mike. Here we go with the Rockets. Welcome, brother. Always great seeing Aaron Jade on the terrible board. Tater Todd says this. Your mascot is a yellow towel. See, this is how dumb Tater Todd is.
That's not a mascot.
And the funny thing about it is the terrible towel is one of the most iconic things in sports. I see in the war, I see people with the terrible towel. I see on the moon or wherever the hell these people are in space, there's terrible towels. But Browns fans always got something funny to say. And yeah.
Yeah, it's literally been in the International Space Station. I have yet to see a grown man on the International Space Station wearing a dog mask.
Well, people do take shits, I guess, in space, Mike. So to be fair, there's duty up there. So if the Browns,
Well, yeah, technically, I guess they did make it before the terrible towel.
Tater says this, Browns AFC champs 2026. Where have you been for the past 50, 60 years? But welcome, Tater. We love you all the way from across the pond. Tater Tard is in the house.
He's the best.
Tortilla, he says this, you can use the towel to wipe the Browns mascot. Vegas says this, Steelworkers versus a full diaper of old man shit is what Vegas is saying. Yeah, Vegas's love for the Browns is it's incredible, guys. Still trying to figure it out to this day. But there he is, Tater Tard on the board. John, Steeler Freak says this, the Eagles and the Seahawks have proven that teams can win a Super Bowl with an average quarterback if the unit is constructed. I couldn't agree more. I don't love Jalen Hurts at all. I don't love Sam Darnold, but these are guys that I felt like they probably could win a championship, and they did win a championship in the right situation.
I think that with Jalen Hurts, he has that weird ability when it's the Super Bowl to play like an elite quarterback. Getting him to the Super Bowl was a struggle, but once there, he's able to flip the switch and turn it on. I'd love for the Steelers to have a guy like that you struggle to get, you struggle, but once the lights turn really bright, you get the best out of them. I'd fucking sign me up for a Jalen Hurts type quarterback.
Tortilla says at least they were diapers. Tater says you'll be playing next February. Trust me, Madden 27. When was the last time the Browns were in a Super Bowl? I'm having the hardest time.
I'm having a tough time remembering.
It's escaping me. It is escaping me. I mean, and the thing is, I know a lot about Super Bowls in football, and I just can't
remember.
I can't pinpoint that year, but I'm sure they won back when there was like 5 or 6 teams, and when it actually really mattered. But all right, Tater.
When it was like the modern era, when it was called a Super Bowl,
when they wore helmets that weren't leather with face masks, let's do scoot forward here. Just Learning says the blueprint for a Super Bowl is a defensive line and an offensive line, and you know what? That was the key to Philadelphia being successful. And then they added a lot of skilled players along the way, but they did build offensive line and defensive line first, and got to have good foundation. Vegas says you talk as if the Browns are going to win the division. You talk as if the Browns are going to not finish in 4th place. When was the last time that happened? Just saying. Let's go to Mark Collins. Mark Collins says this. He said, I do want to say welcome to the show, Mark. Welcome to the terrible board. Mark Collins, he says, Patrick Queen is a bum. The Ravens let him go. He sucks. Trade him for whatever you can get for him. All right. You know what? That's it seems to be the opinion of a lot of Steeler fans, Mark. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you, man. Let's go to, where am I going to go to? I'm going to go to Tortilla. He says both. I think going back to the wide receiver question, would you rather draft or get a proven veteran? Let's see. John Steeler Freak says this. Mike, I think they will do what it takes to be Rooney competitive, which isn't going to help the team grow, and that's what I'm scared of the most.
You're going to have to luck yourself into a playoff run and playoff wins. You will do just enough to remain competitive, which is what we have done, and then you just hope things fall your way in the playoffs. Because after 11 years, that luck will finally turn.
And the thing is, we've been Rooney competitive for quite some time. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I want to learn about this team. I want to find out that this team isn't a team that is just going to be completely running on being Rooney competitive. I like that term, John. And again, I think a coaching change should speak volumes. But again, if we have similar results with a different scheme, different staff, it's going to make people start asking a lot of questions, Mike. That's why, again, I'm not saying anything bad about the former coach. He did what he did. I'm just saying this. I think this is a good thing in a way. Sometimes change is good because now you can start to compare and you can start to look at, okay, well, this was the team's fault and this was the coach's fault. Maybe the coach had his hands tied because of what the owner wanted, because of what the GM wanted. So, Mike, again, this is not the worst thing in the world. Some people, of course, they were welcoming the coaching change. Others liked it. They wanted it to stay the same. But I find this to be a good thing, Mike, because now we learn about this team. Was it Coach T that was the problem? Was he controlling the defense, offense, and wasn't allowing these things to get better? Was this, that, or the other happening? What was the GM? What was actually the owners? So these questions, Mike, will be answered in the upcoming seasons, if you will. And again, I think that this is a good thing. Love or hate, again, Coach Tomlin, he is our former coach, and he's always going to go down as one of the best, Mike, because he has the wins, not in January, but at the end of the day, come on, he's going to he worked his job. He did what he did, and I respect that. But moving forward, I think we're going to learn a lot about this team, and I'm all for that, Mike, because again, I want to find out where the problems really are here.
Same here. Is it a philosophical directive from the owner of this is what I want? I just want us to remain competitive. I don't want us to lose. I want people to show up to the stadium, and that's it. I don't want bad. I'll take middle of the road, competitive. And if we win some playoff games and eventually somehow get a Super Bowl, that's awesome. But just keep making me money.
Yeah.
And right now it's looking like just keep butts in seats.
One more thing, Mike, we are going to get, I'm going to stick on messages for a while, but again, we got a lot of combine talk, which is starting today at 3:00. Of course, defensive linemen, linebackers, place kickers. That's today. Mike, this comment, or this is what I read this morning. Will Howard isn't in the same stratosphere as Ty Simpson. So this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about in a sense, Mike. Ty Simpson is somebody that people were hit or miss with. They're like, I don't know. Do we even want this guy? Of course, he is talented. If he got to the college in the position he did by being a talented player, but how that translated into the pros, Mike, for somebody to say that Will Howard is not even in the stratosphere, what does that mean to you? And do you agree?
And
again, Ty Simpson is not somebody that we're all hoping and cheering and wanting. So where does this? Yeah,
I don't want Ty Simpson at all. But if that's the direction they go, okay, so be it. But I think he was a more highly rated quarterback. Went to Alabama. I think has more of the physical tools you look for in a quarterback. Like more fluid in his movements and stuff like that. But I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me right now. And seeing him choke in big games, you saw Will Howard elevate in big games. I would personally, I like the guys who play better the higher the stakes. And Ty Simpson has proven in college he was the complete opposite. That you can have all the physical tools in the world looking at you, Drew Aller, but when it comes time in the big moments, do you rise to the occasion or do you shrink? And Ty Simpson, Drew Aller shrunk in those big moments, and they're both more physically more talented than someone like Will Howard. But Will Howard found a way to win and didn't let the pressure get to him. Do
And
I
you got
want
and you
really
got
any of those three guys to be my quarterback? No, but I'm just saying that's why Ty Simpson might, on paper be seen as in a higher stratosphere than Will Howard is. He has more the physical tools of like what you're looking for, more fluid movement
all
and
right.
shit
So
like that.
one
But I
guy
don't think they're both great quarterbacks at all.
in two schools that get the most elite football players.
Yeah.
I think people could agree that these two guys that we're talking about come from two schools that get all the talent in the country. Everybody else pretty much gets everything else. So one guy manages to take his team to the championship and do a lot of great things, and the other guy with the same situation does not.
Yeah.
One guy lived up to the occasion. One guy stepped up and got it done when it was the other guy, Mike, again, arguably probably the best players in the country go to the school, didn't do anything in a sense. I mean, they won football games, but at the end of the day, again, Ty Simpson, not even in the same stratosphere as Will Howard. I just thought that was interesting, Mike, because of course Ty Simpson is a name that's certainly came up, and of course Will Howard is the guy that's here. Whether either one of these guys become the quarterback of our future, we don't know. But I just wanted you to address that.
Yeah, I just don't see it with Ty Simpson. I don't get the appeal of him.
I don't either.
I like for even like a lot of these quarterbacks in this draft, I just don't. I don't think there's any real potential starts. Like you had told me 3 years ago, if Drew Aller is going to be, an outside shot for like a 4th round pick, I would thought you're crazy just because like his first year at Penn State as a starter, he looked like this kid was on the rocket ship, and then his development just stalled. Same thing with like people like Nussmeier and Kublinik and Carson Beck. You thought these guys would be much more highly talented coming out this year, but they all kind of sucked. So, like, I just don't think there are any really good quarterbacks in this draft outside of Mendoza. And I don't even think Mendoza is going to end up being a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Mike,
and he's going first overall.
If all these Big Ten quarterbacks continue to go on to be busts and continue to be busts, is it safe to say that Big Ten is not quite as strong as we think they are? If Will Howard can't come in and get it done, if Drew Aller doesn't become anything, if as you said, Mendoza not quite as good as people are making him out to be, what does this say about the conference itself, Mike, with these quarterbacks that are coming out of the Big Ten?
We produce college championship winners, baby.
All right.
Pros.
All right. Don't bring them to the team. That's what Mike is saying in his own weird kind of way.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to think like a Big Ten quarterback that's really lit the league on fire. Like Stroud had that great rookie year and has regressed every year since.
Who did?
Stroud. CJ Stroud. He was like Steelers saying, he was a Roman candle. He started off strong and then just petered out.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move on the board here, guys. Vegas says don't project what you have done year after year onto others, Tater. Also, Vegas says this. He follows it up with saying you have more Madden cover players than Super Bowl rings. Mark Collins says this: the Steelers need to get Sonny Styles or Jared Trotter Jr. inside linebackers. Facts. Queen freaking sucks. Styles is the funny thing about, and if you are from the area, I don't know if you are, Mark, but I remember watching Sonny and his brother's dad, Lorenzo, play at Farrell High School. Matter of fact, they were in our conference in the high school that I went to in football. And I'm not surprised that his boys are the talent level that they are, Mike. Lorenzo Styles Sr. was a monster, a man amongst boys. And I'm talking not just a man, a pro man against boys in high school. He went on, of course, to play college and in the pros. Played linebacker, was a running back and a linebacker in high school. But the boys, Sonny, you know what? These are big names, of course, guys. We're going to get into, of course, the list, Mike, of some people that the Steelers have talked to so far at the Combine. We'll get into that here shortly. Let me go to good comment, though, Mark. I do appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Tortilla says this: I feel like if Scotty was used more, he would have been great for us. Every time we went to him, he made a play. And you know what? He's probably going to make a play 9 times out of 10 that you get it to him. Scotty's a solid player, but you need good NFL wide receivers. And again, we're all football fans here. Look at the better wide receivers around the league, and then look at Scotty Miller. I'm not bad-mouthing Scotty Miller at all. I'm just saying he's not he's not a guy that's going to get you to where you want to be. He's going to be serviceable. He's gritty. He's going to make plays. He's going to get he's going to do things, of course. But at the end of the day, other teams are running around with the ABs of the world right now, Mike, in Philadelphia and all these highly talented wide receivers. Scotty Miller is just not going to get it done at the end of the day. Taking nothing away from the man or the player, he's just not that caliber of a football player.
No, we can find someone in the draft that can do what Scotty Miller does.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not bad mouthing the guy at all. He's serviceable, but he's a career 3 or down. He's not he's not what you need.
He's a career 5 is what
he's
he
a
is.
career 5.
Ben Skoranek needs to be our lowest receiver on the depth chart.
Let me jump over here to Rick74. I do want to say welcome, Rick. Rick says this, Mike, to the caption. I will just say the Steelers shouldn't be afraid to. They have had some bad breaks and such. While you still have Joey Porter Jr., if you're going to try again, now would be these times. Absolutely, and this is the time of change for the Steelers, Rick. So again, hopefully, the Steelers are very active, Mike, and Omar can pull the trigger, and we could get some improvement here in this offseason.
I'm down for it. I'm down for improving the team any way you can. You don't have to that's why I'm glad when Omar came on board, he was not afraid to trade, not afraid to sign attractive free agents. And if they work, awesome. If they don't, we've been kind of quick to correct the mistakes. So I'm all for it. Whereas the previous GM was not about that. It was we're just going to sign our own guys and draft and develop. And if we get free agents, they're going to be very down the line. Yeah, he got us, James Ferrier, but that was about it. It was very hit or miss guys. But now, man, in the NFL today, you got to draft free agency and trade, man. You got to go attack all 3 areas to build that roster.
And that was an old school Steeler way, Mike. I think a lot of people will say that.
And it worked for a long time.
And it did. However, what the league has turned into and become, you got to keep up with the Joneses in a sense, Mike, whether you like it, whether you don't. You can continue to keep your style in a sense, but you have to keep up with the Joneses because look at the teams that aren't keeping up with the Joneses. They're not teams that are having success in the playoffs and getting championships. The teams that are shakers and movers. Let's bring in Tom Brady. Guess what? Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl out of nowhere. You got to be able to make moves. You got to be able to pull the trigger in the NFL. This league is moving too fast to sit on your hands, and the Steelers kind of been in that sit on your hands mode for a long time, and that's what 500 records, a little bit above, consistently, I think feels like, Mike.
Yeah, and I have no problem with the team being aggressive because that shows me that they care. And it's not like they're throwing money willy-nilly the way Dan Snyder used to do it.
Right.
All the old, washed-up big names. Yeah, we got some guys. We signed guys that were older, but we weren't giving them loaded contracts. So we're doing it the right way, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But shit, man, I'd rather my team try than not try at all. So I like what they're doing, but my God, let's knock it out of the park this year.
Mike, we waited long enough. I kept teasing it on. Let's get a look at this list of some people that the Steelers have interviewed to this point. I think that I have the most up-to-date chart. I don't know. There may be people I don't have, so don't crucify me, guys. So let's get to some of these. Right off the top, Mike, I'm looking at cornerback Keontae Scott from Miami. Keontae Scott, the cornerback from Miami, is on a list that has met with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, this name here, Mike, is a name that seems to be really driving people wild, is Caleb Downs. Of course, the safety from Ohio State, Mike. They're saying this cat is top of the food chain kind of safety. If you want, somebody who's going to be that guy back there for you for some time, Caleb Downs. If you want to comment on him before I continue on the list.
Yeah, he's take it, grain of salt, but PFF's number 3 ranked prospect. And if you watch him play, that's he should be in the top 5. Dude is a beast.
Cornerback D'Angelo Pons from Indiana, Mike. He has also talked to the Steelers in their interviews. Also, Mike, in the combine interviews, linebacker Jake Goldday, we did talk about him yesterday out of Cincinnati. He had a formal interview with the Steelers. Texas inside linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. They said that he had a great meeting. And again, all the meetings are great at this point, unless
they're all great.
Unless you really flub it up. You're gonna have a great meeting. Everybody should be saying the right things right now. They should be.
Yeah.
If they don't, cross that guy off the list. Let's look further on, Mike. Also having a meeting with the Steelers, a formal meeting, was Georgia linebacker CJ Allen. He is on the list, and this is a good list. This isn't the list that everybody's looking to in the real world. This is a good list. We like this list. Mike, the next person on this list is defensive tackle Rayshawn Benny out of Michigan. He had a formal interview with the Steelers. Defensive tackle Caden McDonald from Ohio State. He had a formal interview with the Steelers. Let me continue down here. Defensive tackle out of Florida State, Darrell Jackson. Mike, we interviewed him as well. Linebacker, this guy also, Mike, because I flubbed up his name yesterday. The linebacker Bryce Bocher from Oregon. This was another. He was in multiple informal meetings, Mike. He had not had a formal meeting. Multiple informal meetings with the Steelers. Let's move on. USC's outside linebacker Anthony Lucas had an informal meeting with the Steelers in Indianapolis. Also, edge rusher LT Overton out of Alabama. Mike, we did in fact have a meeting with him. Defensive tackle Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. They didn't specify if it was a formal meeting or an informal. However, we did meet with him. That young man, LSU defensive back Monshaw Delaney. Is that how that's pronounced? Apparently, this says that he had interviews with several teams, including the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Lions. Continued down on the list here, Colton Hood, the quarterback from Tennessee. I think that's a name that people recognize, Mike. Colton Hood. He is on the list of formal interviews that the Steelers had. Also, let's scoot down here. There it is. Cornerback Avion Terrell from Clemson. This is another name, somebody that was had an interview with the quarterback, Mike, and this is about where I'm at with my list. I'm going to continue to keep on it, and if you see more or I missed anybody, I do apologize, but do let me know. Throw it up on the board, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can say, finish up your list. I have an expanded list as well.
Please do
it. You ready for it?
Yes, sir.
All right, cornerbacks, because that's where a lot of the added names came in late yesterday. Like you said, D'Angelo Pond, Monshaw Delaney, Colton Hood. Then you got from California, I'm going to butcher this name, Hezekiah Masses. Georgia, Dalen Everett. South Carolina, Braden Cece. Arizona State, Keith Abney. And I think you said Florida, Keontae Scott. And then defensive backs, continued safety, Dylan Theinman from Oregon, Bud Clark from TCU. That's no surprise there. A lot of people are high on him. From USC, Bishop Fitzgerald. And Penn State, Zeke Wheatley. And LSU, AJ Hockley to round out from the guys that we had meetings with.
All right, so there you go, guys. As far as we know, Mike, from the information and the sources we have, these are the meetings, formal and informal, that the Steelers have with a lot of players. Of course, guys, again, today is linebackers, defensive linemen, place kickers. You're noticing a lot of these cornerbacks, safeties, Mike, a lot of defensive guys, and offense doesn't come till later on in the weekend. So, we will see those interviews as well. They get roughly 40-some interviews, formal interviews that they could have with players in the combine, and there's obviously there's over 300 plus players there. So we will keep up to date, Mike, as far as everything that we have in front of us. That seems to be most of the interviews. We apologize if we're missing any. Guys, do throw anything up there if you are catching any scoop on the fly. Let me jump back on the board for a couple minutes. Mike Tortilla Jackson says, yeah, I'll hold the door if that's a problem. I think that's going back to the Jonnu Smith.
Yep.
Leaving the door open for Jonnu Smith, of course. That comment. Just Learning says, Tortilla, I agree. Our players might thrive without Arthur Smith. You know what? We got to. I mean, Matt Canada was a disaster. Arthur Smith was a disaster. I'd like to have something that's not a disaster. Let's go to Vegas right here. Vegas says this. If Jonnu gets cut, then another tight end will be needed. Only Muth and Mount Washington are left.
Baby, we got Meatwad.
We do got Meatwad. Again, there's that versatile Meatwad,
Yeah.
Like him or not, Meatwad is he gets it done.
I think though too, if Jonnu goes, though, they will add another tight end because he can float up and down that lineup. You can say, "Oh, here's our fullback, Meatwad."
I couldn't agree more. I think they are going to eventually grab another tight end if Jonnu doesn't go anywhere. But again, why not? Why not really take advantage of the size of Darnell Washington and the talent of Pat Freiermuth? Mike, I think they fell to the wayside certainly the past couple years on this team, and it's a shame. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back, does that change? And in theory, it should. A new team, offensive-minded coach, new system, or is this? We're going to find out that this is more of the team model than particularly a coach. So again, a lot of questions are going to be answered, Mike.
Oh, shit ton, yeah. Yeah, let's just kick Jonnu Smith off this team, please. Can we? I had better acceleration than him.
And I've seen you accelerate. I just got to say,
it ain't pretty.
It's not pretty. Remember when you got injured by going in reverse in your car that one time?
Hey, all I got to say is, the more I drink, the pain I have in my joints, and I gain mobility and flexibility.
All right.
I get a little shifty.
Let's move on the board a little bit, Mike. I don't want to get too far behind today. I'm going to go right here to John Steeler Freak says, I'm ready to buy next year's season movie ticket, watching the same weekly film, knowing the ending again. And that's the one thing that we're all hoping is the change. There's got to be, and in my opinion, even if you fall lower than where you want to be, it's still a change. And moving forward, I think that it's just necessary. Everything is not going to be fine and dandy forever. There's 31 other teams that would love the same thing. They would love to bring guys in. They would love for the team to do well, and they would love to go on and have success in the playoffs. The fact of the matter is, it's not likely. More teams don't advance onto the playoffs, so they again, Mike, will the changes happen with the new staff, or is it going to be a lot of the same, which scares the shit out of me? You bring in new players, new coaches, new systems, and the same results. That's what scares me, because then how do you fix this? How do you fix that?
Yeah. You're in a cycle like the Browns where you fire a coach every 3 years.
Right. And you don't want to get into that cycle. You don't want to get into a new quarterback every 6 minutes. You don't want to get into a new coach every 35 seconds. That's a bad cycle to be in, and it's a cycle that the Steelers have never been in the Super Bowl area, and they got to shake it. They have to shake what's going on right now with this team. It's unacceptable as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Say what you want about that comment. Say what you want about being spoiled. It's just unacceptable. We have to figure this out.
Big time.
All right, let's do stick on the board here, guys. I'm going to go to Tortilla. Tortilla says, I like Will Disley. He can block and can be good in the red zone. He's like 30, though. Also, Tater says, do you stick with McCarthy experiment when you start like 2? I don't know. How's that? How does 2-8 feel? How does 2-8 taste, Tater? We don't know how that tastes, so chances are we'll be all right. You just worry about you. You just worry about the mutts up the turnpike there, would you? Tortilla says this. He says, we could use another blocking tight end, though. Washington was the only one, and it limits us as well as tells the other team what we're doing. John says this. Rooney won't allow Howard to start and learn. I don't agree with that, but I don't see him doing it. He will stick with the competitive theme. Vegas says this, right? It's hard to see Will being the starter week 1, seeing how he has 0 snaps in his career. Let me ask you this, guys. Let's just say Aaron doesn't come back, which I'm a fan of him not coming back, but that's just me. Let's say Aaron don't come back, Mike. Mason Rudolph has to be week 1 starter. I would think, unless they have a quarterback competition and he gets beat out by Will Howard or even Skylar Thompson. I don't even know where he's at, if he's still at the end of the day. Let's say Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, Mike. Who's starting week 1 when early September rolls around? And are we happy with that? Are we happy with that move if that ends up being how it goes? If it is, let's just say Mason Rudolph.
I won't be happy with it, but that'd be the direction that they would go with. If they really don't get anyone in free agency, and if they get someone in the draft, I don't think they're going to be ready. So yeah, it will be Mason Rudolph will be your week 1 starter.
Oh, that's gross. That's disgusting. So you're kind of hoping, in a sense, for Aaron Rodgers to come back because you don't want to lose every week.
Yeah, either
is
that or Anthony Richardson just was just informed he's allowed to seek a trade from the Colts. So hey, we can have him. We can have Kyler Murray. We can have.
Isn't he the guy that lost his job to Phillip Rivers?
He lost his job to Danny
Oh,
Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
So Anthony Richardson got buried in Danny Dimes and 93-year-old Phillip Rivers, and we might just
Hey, I'm just saying there.
Gotcha.
So So Mason Rudolph might not be that bad of a pill to swallow.
All right,
at least you know what you're getting out of him.
Rick says this. He says, like the name Big John Studd. Yes, my flashback, old enough to recall watching. Yes, big old Big John Studd, absolutely, from the WWF days, long before the WWE. I was just thinking about the Junkyard Dog the other day. Mike, remember Junkyard Dog in wrestling?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do. I remember him came to my hometown to do I had a show in Pittsburgh back in the day, and he was in character. He had the chain on, the dog food there. You go up get the autograph. Like,
it said thump great. Across his ass. Vegas says me too. Rick 74. Damn right, baby. That was the golden era. Well, you know what? There was a couple of golden eras in pro wrestling, but certainly those days, Hillbilly Jims and Junkyard Dog.
That was more of a tugboat fan.
A what? A what?
Tugboat.
You like tugboat, huh?
Tugboat, typhoon.
Tugboat, yeah, the natural disasters. Earthquake. Yeah. Let me find out where we're on the board here, Mike. It's moving because that stupid window keeps popping up again. Yeah. Let's go right here. There we go. Rick says this. He says, agreed. I never gotten totally the narrative. Why does it do this? And this is just out of the blue, Mike. Again, is it your computer messing with me? Because again, I see your computer.
My computer,
because you're choppy, so I don't know if it's just messing up the whole system or what's going on here. All right, let's go here. Rick says, agreed. I never gotten totally the narrative. Howard, I not get how national championship legitimately left his team playing big in big games, etc. has been so dismissed just because guy is drafted 6th. Let Ty Simpson. Is that what's being said there by Tortilla? I'm not sure. Somber says they're both projects. Whoever said that is brain dead. I agree. I agree with you, Somber. What's up, dude? Great to see Jamal on the terrible board. Jamal says, gang. Where the gang at? I know that Somber's. See, now I'm hearing that echo again. Oh, now I'm not. What is going on?
I don't know. I haven't touched anything.
Part of the gang's here. I've seen Somber. I haven't seen Ty though. I haven't seen Ty yet today. Good to see you, Jamal. Hope everything's going well for you, brother. AG Housey, go Tigers. Prince Shaman. I do want to say welcome to Prince Shaman 94. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Mark Malone says at Tortilla. I really don't get the Fry Daddy hate when it comes to. I mean either. When did Pat Freiermuth fall under the radar, or when did he not become a good, serviceable tight end? The guy catches okay. He missed a 50-yard bomb down the right sideline one time this year, and all of a sudden, Pat Freiermuth can't catch, he can't run, he can't make plays, he can't block. I'm like, where is this Pat Freiermuth hate coming from?
Underutilization is really what it is. Quarterbacks not targeting him, and that's really where it's come from. You watch him play; he's a damn good player. It's just they just have not been targeting him for some odd reason.
It's insane to me. Because, again, with the exception of one drop pass so far since he's been in Pittsburgh, there hasn't been much the Pat Freiermuth did that I didn't like. You know what I mean? Something where he really effed something up or wasn't able to do. Again, I'm not getting the hate on Freiermuth either, but let's move on here. Tortilla says Ty has some good things going. Smart goes through his reads. He'll be good if he goes to the Rams. Also small, so he'll probably get broken in New York maybe. Mike McCarthy, West Coast offense can develop him. Tortilla says Will Howard is built for the AFC North, though. And that's what with the FU energy that I keep reading that Will Howard has, that he seems like an AFC North quarterback to me. I just, again, call me crazy, but that's what I get that vibe from him. Tortilla said Andy's a winner. He did win. He has a ring. Also, Steeler Freak says Stroud was a Roman candle. Rick says Steelers do have that guy on the roster that can turn the switch. Steelers do have that guy on the roster that can turn the switch or shown he plays big in big games. Will Howard. Howard did it so in college. Heck, MVP in national championship, just saying. Somber says no on Trotter. Follows it up by saying, might as well bring E-Rob back. I know that Papa Trotter was good. What's the scoop on Junior? Why is no interest in that, Somber? Just wondering, Mike.
I don't know either, because I know he had another son drafted, I think last year or the year before.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to check out this version of Trotter Jr. I don't know if he's just reading scouting profile. He looks more of a thumper type of guy, not a big coverage guy.
And we could use a thumper though. But certainly he's a guy that doesn't miss tackles. That would be nice. Ty, there's Ty. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Tyrone. I apologize if I said I hadn't seen you. I just hadn't seen you on the board, brother. If you are here, I do want to say what's up to my good friend Tyrone. Nice seeing you. He says JPJ is the GOAT. Of course, Ty is the GOAT. Mark Malone says we need Alec Pierce to fulfill the white receiver role. Says Mark Malone, you need Jesus, man. Tyrone says, what are you talking about? Mark Malone, Tater, I have Thor and Odin. Mark Malone also says we have to get Corleone. I don't know, Mike. I just don't know if I could take having the Corleone on this team. I just don't know.
He's going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
He's going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
I just want him because he looks short and fat, and that's what I want on my nose tackle. I want a short, fat guy.
Hey, you know what? Tony Saragusa was a short, fat guy. He could have been a Corleone. The little Italian from Vegas.
Yeah.
Remember, of course, Pitt went to Pitt and had a great career in the NFL. Mark Malone says this. I also want that guard from Iowa with the majestic mullet and mustache. Of course, Mark Malone. Loving the mullet, man. Let's see. S. Dresden. I do want to say welcome. He says define Steeler leadership. Mike, define Steeler leadership. I'm not sure what S. Dresden is looking for here, but go ahead and try to address that comment.
I got nothing because I saw that pop up too, and I don't even know what that means or what it was in reference to. Steeler leadership, Art Rooney.
I just clear that up. Send another. If you have, I do apologize. I'll get to it shortly.
Yeah.
Let us know more.
I saw it pop up and I forgot what it was in reference to.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Tyrone says like the guys they interviewed. Yeah, so far so good. Again, we're gonna get more offensive interviews as time goes on here, and Lord knows we need offense. So today, again, guys, the combine does start. It is defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers. Tomorrow, defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and Sunday, bringing up the rear as always, the offensive line. Today, 3 to 8. Everybody's getting weighed in, getting registered, entered in, Mike, as we are just an hour and a half away from the official kickoff of the combine, if you will, in Indianapolis. This goes all the way through the weekend, guys. Somber, pretty much anyone they could talk to. But you know what? You're right. Again, there's a lot of interviews that are going to be happening, and they will continue. Tyrone says Steeler rumor trade talk with Jags. Brian Thomas Jr. That's interesting. It is interesting. I have not heard that. Tater says
wow. Oh, hold on, guys. Ryan's coming right back.
See what's going on.
Tater. You mentioned Tater, and you get kicked the air.
Yeah, what's going on? What is going on?
Tater did that.
Well, now I don't even know what's. And I have to do a whole thing to get back to where I was. it's going to be a whole method here, a whole thing. Guys, dude, relax. Just hang out for a minute. Mike, go ahead and take the wheel for
I was
a
gonna
minute.
say, I'm gonna address like how what I put in the title of how like cornerbacks. Do you guys think cornerback in the first round? Because they spoke to a lot of them, and if you don't want to if you're gonna lock up JPJ long term, and you want to find his running mate, if you can't lock up Asante Samuel, and if you don't think James Pierre is gonna be a long term solution, well, what are you guys on the boards thinking about a corner in first round? Now, there's going to be at least 3 taken, possibly 4 taken in the first round. I wouldn't be opposed to it. One of these guys and having 2 lockdown corners, and that's going to allow that defense to do more, and you can still get some good receivers in the second and third round too, and build out your skill position players. I think this draft you're going to see a lot of skill positions early, and I wouldn't be opposed to corner in the first round, followed by receiver in round 2. I think that'd be a home run.
All right, let me get back to this Derpy. Let's get back to this Tater comment for just a moment, Mikey, just because it is so ridiculous. Tater says this is Tater Tart, guys, from England or Europe or wherever the hell they're from across the pond. Tater Tart says this, guys. He says Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith says this is how he sounds in my head. He's English. I don't even know what the English accent is. Let me continue.
Yeah.
Steelers. Stephen A. Smith says Schittsburg is an undesirable destination. Discuss. That's so retarded. That is such a retarded thing. And you know what? In some senses, that's so retarded.
It's dumb. Like the city is desirable. The team is desirable. The team that's always trying to do what it can to
the
win.
Team that has a tradition in winning and is basically the best that's ever. Come on, Tater. Come on, Tater.
An organization that's going to put a competitive team out there year over year, and a city that is constantly changing and evolving with the times, keeping up with the current trends and keeping up with the some of the best cities in the world. Pittsburgh sucks.
And again, guys, this is our resident Browns fan. God love him, Tater. Anybody that's turning to Stephen A. Smith for their scoop, please. Let me move on. Tyrone says this. He says Steeler rumors trade talks with Jags Brian Thomas Jr. Also, he follows it up by saying Stephen A. Smith is a dumbass. Estreston says Pittsburgh is Gary, Indiana. Let's go to Mark Malone. I like Galbraith. He's already under contract. All right. Let's go to here we go. Tater says he's a national media and I'm in the UK. Is Schittsburg a dump? It is not. Pittsburgh is actually one of the most it actually keeps qualifying as one of the best places, big cities to live in the United States. So I don't know what the hell you're doing over there in where do you say you're from? The United Kingdom.
He won't say where in the United Kingdom.
He won't say where he's from.
He's afraid of his cat.
He won't say if he's English or Irish or whale alien.
Whale alien.
Let's go to Tyrone. He says, you calling Steelers a dump but a Browns. That's what I'm saying. Come on, Tater. Get with it. Maybe you should stop listening to Stephen A. Smith. Mark Malone says, hopefully they draft Sawyer Robertson. Big John Stud says, Steeler freak, the Steelers will pick up another retread like Murray if Rodgers doesn't come back. And you know what? How frustrating would that be, John? Just because, maybe I don't know. Mike, why can't we keep up with the league? What's going on?
I'm taking Kyler Murray 4 years ago when him and Cliff Kingsbury were very close to getting them into a little playoff run. But it's just become injury prone, unfocused. You get worried when there's a new Call of Duty release because you don't know if he's prioritized that over game planning. So no on Kyler Murray. And
And
I don't think
unfortunately,
I don't think we're going retread quarterback. I think we're going to go another year of Aaron Rodgers as a bridge quarterback, and we're going to go with Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and another rookie quarterback.
are you confident that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, Mike?
I got it 50-50.
All right, let's go on the board. I'm going to go right here. Tyrone says if A-Rod comes back, we don't no need for a quarterback in this draft, and it's you're probably right, but at some point we got to pull the trigger somewhere. We can't continue because it's just more of the same, in my opinion. At what point do we move forward if we continue to go this route? And as John is saying, and as Ty is saying here, it just really goes against what I think we need to do. Mike, go ahead.
My only rebuttal to that is we spent a decent amount of time talking about Will Howard and his development, how beneficial it is for guys to sit for a year. If you bring Aaron Rodgers back with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, grooming Will Howard to be your guy after
you would think so.
is gone.
But
if
that's not a guarantee.
Plan, and you keep drafting to fill out that roster and you have it ready for just to Will Howard after Aaron Rodgers is gone to have another year here.
It's hard to hear you, Mike. I can't even understand what's being said on your end. Let me do stick on the board though. Maybe you could work on a few things on your end there. Let's go to Kenneth. What's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Kenneth Jones on the terrible board. My man, great seeing you. Welcome to the show as always. Hope things are going well for you. RB, what's up, brother? He says Mark Malone. That would be Jennings Dunker. Also Jennings. He revised it. Let's see. Tyrone says I'm here. Here I am, guys. We see you now, brother. Glad to see you. Hope everything is going good for you, my man. Mark Malone says I've seen Fry block. This guy's completely off the screen. LOL. Tyrone says youth will break out this year with McCarthy, DK as well. Mark Malone says RB, yeah, dude, we need that guy. RB follows that up by saying he's a tackle, but I've seen him being moved to guard. Vegas says just watch Will on the Gruden show. You will like him if you don't like him already. Let's see. RB says I like both Dunker and Rutledge from Georgia Tech. Somber says, yeah, he's a thumper. Tater says Howard would make a good CFL quarterback. Somber says I prefer somebody who can do all the aspects of their job. Steel Loyal, what's up, dude? Great seeing Steel Loyal. Says I'm late, just got off. No problem, brother. We be here. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you today. Steel Loyal, everybody. Vegas says sign a sumo wrestler and put him at nose tackle. You know what? You're just trying to get a body to take up space. What's so wrong with that, right, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tyrone says, Tater, you last teams to talk about. Yeah, come on. Tater's talking about quarterbacks. He's a Browns fan, guys. Oh, by the way, Mike, it is trending that Deshaun Watson is more than likely going to be the starting quarterback in Cleveland this year. Deshaun Watson. It's trending toward he's looking like he's going to be starting up there by the lake.
He's quarterback on the team. He's their most quarterback on the team. It would make that he would be their starting quarterback. I love that.
Tyrone says, Summer, okay, we got that. R.I.P. Ryan. He's been resurrected. It didn't even take me 3 days. Let's see. Somber says, Vegas says, what's good, Tyrone, everybody? Look, here we go. Ryan versus robots. It could be a sub show here on the channel. Just to be me fighting technology for an hour. Somber says there's no telling where they want who yet. Steel Loyal, if Terrell falls to 21, would y'all take him? I mean, at this point, there's so many guys. I mean, you know, we have a lot of needs, and there are a lot of guys I would take at 21. But who's most desirable to you, Mike? What do you think we truly should get with our first draft pick, first round of the draft this year?
This is based on the roster now. No projecting free agency and shit like that. A wide receiver. not just any wide receiver, one that would make sense. Like Jason, Carnell Tate out of if he falls that far, I don't see Mekhi Lemon would be the ones right there. Sleeper pick is Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana of the draft.
He sure
is. Like those guys right there. And this is just based off of as it sits now, no free agency bullshit. One of those 4 wide receivers I would take right now, immediately at 21. But if we do some other shit, that's going to be my opinion. But right now, one of those 4 receivers, Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Yeah, a lot of people like Mekhi Lemon. Certainly for the Steelers, people were predicting him. They have been for several weeks now. A huge need for us is the wide receiver position. Let's go to right here where Vegas is. I like the guy from Tennessee, but he already tore his ACL. What an effed up.
Hey, it torn. He's perfect for us.
What an effed up hand to be dealt, man. Can you imagine being this close to the NFL and you're dealing with a fucking ACL tear? You made it this far. The NFL draft is at hand, and this is what you're. Let me go to right here. Tyrone says loyal if wide receivers gone, and loan yes. Somber. Stephen A. Smith, you later. Accent. Vegas says I just say that Pittsburgh has 5 huge projects that will make the city even better for like $4 billion. No, there is a lot of things going on. There's constantly movies being made here in town. All kind of stuff, baby. Pittsburgh is where it's at. No two ways about that. Let's go down to John. John says part of Tater's dad's DNA was filtered through the sheets. Tater Tard in the house. Let's do, you know what? I'm back to where I could actually see on my main screen, which is a huge plus. I think. There we go. Perfect. Tyrone. I'm sorry, Ty. We just did get this tortilla tater from the United Ding Dong. Let's scoot up to Johnny. What's up, dude? What's up, Johnny V5? He says, what's up, guys? Always great seeing Johnny on the Terrible Board. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Terrible Board, Johnny. I always like to say Johnny. It's a fun to say, Mike. Try, would you? Johnny. Yeah. Tyrone says officially off season, fellas. It is. The combine starts today, guys. If you're just joining us right now, it is combine kickoff here in an hour and 22 minutes, officially 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. today. We're going to be seeing the linebackers, defensive linemen, and place kickers today. Tomorrow will be defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and then Sunday, of course, is the offensive linemen. Wrapping up the combine, guys, and we're just a couple weeks out from free agency, and this is when it's going to we're going to be bringing in guys maybe you thought you never would see in a Steeler uniform. A guy's going to be leaving. We're going to be paying people. A lot of things happening Steeler team over these next couple of weeks, guys, and still less than 2 months away from the draft right here in Pittsburgh. A lot of things going on this offseason. Johnny says this. Stephen A. Smith is a loudmouth. Yeah, he is, man. And listen, I respect his grind. The dude is what he is, and he got to where he is by being who he is, and I respect that. But I think that if that's who you're turning to for your news, I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good idea, Tater. I'm just saying, if you like him for his entertainment value, that's one thing. And again, that's why he is who he is. But I wouldn't turn to him for all my, especially if you're from overseas. Fuck. You might as well ask a garbage can what's going on over here. I mean, let's go with Tyrone combine today. Let's go, baby. That's right. It all kicks off today. Let's do this. Vegas says, okay, I seem to be moving in the wrong. Oh, there it is. Pittsburgh's $4 billion gamble. 5 projects that will define the city's future, and see it for yourself. So there you go. Tater Tard. Some sources brought back for you. Somber says, doesn't he play Warzone? Those are on a 3 or 4 year cycle. Still loyal. He says this. I thought Warzone was dead. Laugh my fucking ass off. Call of Duty is trash nowadays. Vegas says, would you be mad if they took an OT Lamu from Utah? You know what? I don't know much about that name, Vegas, but I'm going to say this. I did make it a point today, Mike, that I wrote it on my notes. If anybody comes from that what is it? That Pacific, the Hawaiian people, people that come from that state.
Polynesian.
The Polynesians, these people can football. Now, I don't know anything about Lomu who you're talking about, but one thing that I do know, somebody comes to this the combine, Mike, that's Polynesian, take a good look at him. I don't know if I've ever seen a Polynesian that was. I'm just saying. Who's the worst Polynesian football player that you could think of? None. They're all good. They're all good.
Fu was
tough. He
was tough.
He was playing in an era that certainly didn't fit him for the team. We had Amos there. We had other things going on, but find me one Polynesian that wasn't worth it at the end of the day. And I this kind of goes back, Mike. Last year, remember I watched the high school all-star game.
Yeah.
In Hawaii. I wasn't in Hawaii, but it was in Hawaii, and it was like a bunch of Palomalus, just like missiles shooting all over the field. It was anything like I've never seen before. If you see a Polynesian on that board, I don't care if you need him or not, get him, because he's going to be worth it. Like it was insane. And they all had the hair. Every player out there, the running backs, the quarterbacks, the defensive linemen, they all had the hair. And just it was like watching it was like watching the Persian Gulf War on CNN with all these missiles just shooting around everywhere. Truly something to see. I'm telling you, don't pass up on a Polynesian. I do like that. Lomu, don't know much about him, but I can tell you I already like him.
You're just like, oh, he's of like a Pacific Islander descent. Fuck yeah, sign me up, baby.
That's right. I mean, we're entertaining the thoughts of Scotty Miller, for crying out loud. You take a look at the Polynesian. I'm just saying. Do what you want with that. Johnny says, give the kid Will Howard. I agree. I'm ready to see Will Howard. I'm ready like last week to see Will Howard. Let him compete for the job. Competition tends to bring the best out of people. And again, he has some FU energy that I also want to see as well, Mike. That a lot of people think that would make him a good AFC North quarterback. Speaking of the AFC North, Mike, Baltimore's new head coach, Jesse Minter, has let me see what he says here. He has made it his mission to dominate the AFC North and says that he hates the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, this was somebody that we was considering bringing in for a job. The new Baltimore Ravens head coach, Jesse Minter, Mike, is on a mission to dominate the AFC North, and he comes out and says, there's no secret, I hate the Steelers, probably why he got hired by Baltimore.
He hates the Steelers, but can he beat the Steelers? And I don't know if he can, because Baltimore has trouble beating us. And
we did win 10 of the last 12.
Yeah, if I was a fan of the Ravens, I like that message from my coach.
I would too.
But good luck getting past the Steelers, because Lamar Jackson tends to choke against us.
And Lamar Jackson's window is closing slowly, guys. Again, you get past at this point in the season with the injuries and taking away some of that skill with his legs that he had early on. That window might be closing a little faster than people thinks it is, Mike. But Jesse Minter, there you go. So if you want a new villain, if you are a Steeler fan and you're looking for a new villain, Jesse Minter, he says that he's on a mission to dominate the AFC North, and he says that he hates the Steelers, Mike, end quote. He hates them.
I don't even think about the Ravens.
You know what I mean? You might as well think about the Browns if you're going to do that. Let's scoot down a little bit here. I'm going to go with Somber. He says, give me Bo Stevens over Jennings Dunker. He's a true guard. This is also from Iowa. All right, let's go Raiders. John says Muth is in the Rodgers shit list with Roman Wilson. That's what I'm saying. Do those things change if Aaron Rodgers comes back this year, Mike? Does Muth not come on, Roman Wilson, Pat Freiermuth, and I think Caleb Johnson's a little bit different of a story. But does that change, or is it more of the same? Does Roman Wilson continue to be invisible? Is Pat Freiermuth sickly, grossly underused if Aaron Rodgers returns?
I think so, because he's not going to allow the play to develop that much. He's just going to dump it off. And you bring back Aaron Rodgers, and like I said all week, you better bring back Kenny Gainwell or find another running back who can catch passes and do something in the open field. Because that's what our offense is going to be. It's going to be what we saw last year with just a different offensive coordinator.
All right, let's move
And
on,
like
Mark.
that's what his offense was in New York. He had Garrett Wilson, couldn't get him the ball.
Mark Malone says third time's a charm. Steel Loyal says the Michael Jordan of football, Deshaun Watson. Gang, my G's, what's up, dude? Always great seeing you, brother. Hope things are good. Jamal Ty says this. When are we going to start cutting extend guys? Shaking my head. Right here, Steel Loyal says Tater is messing with Mike's internet again. Vegas says we need to come up with a nickname for Ryan. Somber says Eric McAllister or Josh Cameron on day 3 as a second or third wide receiver. Let me go to 5 Maiku. 5 Maiku. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. He says this: Tyler Shuck got his chance, and now there's clear hope for the Saints. All while Will Howard still has yet to. I mean, to Will to that the defense of what you're saying. Listen, I don't disagree with you. I think Shuck made the best of the situation, and I think things are going good for them, considering that it is the Saints, and that's the caliber of what good is for the Saints, and it may not get much better. But listen, if it wasn't for the broken hand, we would have seen more of Will, and we would have seen him in the preseason. So, again, I think this July is huge, Mike, for learning a lot about these guys, maybe the Caleb Johnsons, that we didn't get to see a lot last year after the fumble or the F up, whatever, the mishap, if you call it.
Yeah.
Also, Mike Roman Wilson. I want to see more of him in preseason. I want to see Will Howard in preseason. All these guys that got left out in the cold with Aaron Rodgers under center last year. I cannot wait to see these guys in July.
Yeah, I want to see them in training camp in preseason, and like, well, Howard, don't forget, he's a 6th-round quarterback. He has a lot of work that still needs done. I don't want to throw out a guy in year 1 or maybe even in year 2 to, go out there and shit the bed. Let him develop and throw him out there in year 3 and see
And
what
that
he
is
got there.
and that is a possibility, shitting the bed, but also not shitting the bed's a possibility as well. So we have to look at the guy. We have to see the kid play. There's no ifs, ands, ors, buts about it. If he's capable, I want to see crazy Will Howard in July, Mike, whether it be 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. The kid needs mad playing time when it comes time to preseason football this year. I think we owe it to him and to the fans. Let's go to also 5. Miko follows it up by saying, I hope this offensive-minded head coach switches things up to what we are used to. I hope you're right, brother. Miko, yes, this offense, something has to give. Something has to give this year. And as I pointed out yesterday, we went in with a 43-year-old quarterback, 1 professional wide receiver basically last year, an offensive line that's coming along, and again, the 3rd-string running back to start the year that was Gainwell behind Caleb and behind Warren, he ended up being the MVP of the team. So again, there's so much left to be done with this offense, Mike. And again, the more and more money that keeps going into the defense, it just makes you wonder, makes you think to yourself, this is going to have to be built through the draft when it comes to the offense.
Oh, big time.
Because of the way the money's being spent.
Yep, and that's So that's one thing. There's going to be multiple wide receivers selected this year because one, the money allocated to the defense. 2, you don't know who the quarterback's going to be, what free agent's really going to want to come here. So you got to load up on the draft with wide receivers and with more offensive linemen through the draft too.
I agree. It's almost playing out that it has to go that way, Mike, because again, you're spending so many dollars to the extended contracts and the bigger contracts of the guys on the defensive side of the ball. You almost have to build this offense through the draft. You might be able to get a name or 2, but at the end of the day, that's just the way that it's playing out, guys. So let me scoot up here a little bit more. I'm seeing some new names. I do want to say welcome to everybody, guys. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you. Glad to have you here on the terrible board. Tyrone says, ready to see linebackers today? Absolutely, man. Linebackers, defensive linemen, and place kickers today. Also D-line, as you said as well. Let's go to Baldo Badass. I do want to say Baldo Badass, Mike. For some reason, I could picture people calling you Baldo Badass. But let's go to what Baldo says. He says, who do you think we're drafting first round? Or should I say, what does the team need? Baldo, I think it needs a lot. But Mike, I'm going to let you answer this one.
Right now, I'm leaning, I'm leaning towards wide receiver in the first pick because, like I just said, like what self-respecting high-end wide receiver is going to want to come here, not knowing who the quarterback is. So yeah, and that's like the most pressing need is a playmaker opposite DK Metcalf.
So in other words, getting somebody that has all the talent in the world, like the kid from USC or any of these guys that people love,
Yeah.
Mike, with so much upside and letting them prove themselves and be successful by default and pay them less and get
Yep.
most production out of them would certainly be beneficial because, again, all this money is being spent on contracts on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
So get the best possible thing that we need, which is a wide receiver on offense, get him through the draft, pay him minimally, let him work his ass off, achieve greatness if he can, and then we'll deal with him when that time comes.
Yeah. And then all that money that you're paying to Cam Hayward and Earl Hayward, Watt, Highsmith, those contracts will be off the books.
Right.
And you can start swinging that back to the offense, and then you go back and build your defense through the draft again. And you just keep doing that flow back and forth.
That makes sense. You know what? That's one of the smarter things that I've heard today. But listen,
hey, I do have some knowledge every once
coming out of you. I got to be honest with you. The board is always smart. Coming from you, that's the smartest thing I've heard.
Well, I'll take it.
All right, let's move forward. Five Miko says this. I'll take an OT and a defensive. The lines need to keep improving as well, as that was where they started. Mike, you can't stop that now.
You keep getting guys because if guys get hurt, guys overperform, and you're not able to keep them on the contract. You have that next wave ready to go. That's what they do in Philly. You know, our boy, what's his name? His name is escaping my mind. Weedle came from Philly.
Oh, yeah.
That philosophy, keep stacking those guys.
All right, let's move forward here a little bit to Steel Loyal. He says this, we're going to see some fast backers today. Damn right we are. You get DBs. Wait, today we got linebackers. Okay, my fault. Yes, you're going to see fast linebacker. You know what? You're seeing guys give it their all. So, again, here in an hour and 8 minutes, it officially does start. The guys are in town in Indianapolis are getting weighed in, registered, all that kind of stuff measured. But here in an hour, guys, Combine does kick off again. Linebackers, defensive line, and place kickers today. Tomorrow, defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And Sunday, wrapping it up with the offensive line. Let me go to Somber. Lomu, LOL, Lomu. Is that the pronunciation for that? Lomu. Steel Loyal says that tackle from the Ravens is pretty damn bad. Vegas says we need another bad Malafala. See, Mike, come on, look at the fun you have with that name. Malafala. Johnny 5. Johnny says this. What's up, guys? Glad to talk with you. Mississippi Proud, welcome. Nice. Welcome from the South. Welcome. Love it, man. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you, sir. John says this. Steeler Freak says I'm waiting for the sumo wrestler lineman. You keep getting them guys from the Polynesian guys. You never know, Mike. Somebody from the Pacific Circle, if you will. They all tend to be good football players. Tyrone says this. Mike McCarthy finna whoop year in, year out. I hope you're right, man. Tater. All right, here we go. We're finally getting a little bit of disclosure about Tater Tard on the Terrible Board. He's only been with us for a couple months, but I'm just now learning the Tater Tard is from Northern Ireland. Ireland.
Nice.
So you're Irish. All right. We dig. Listen, we dig Irish people more than we dig English people in America. I'm just saying, we just do. I don't know. More people relate with the Irish than the English.
Especially Northern Ireland. Yeah.
I don't know why, but just we do. He follows it up by saying, "What good channels is there in Shitberg? What for? What TV, radio? I don't know. I'm not sure what you're asking. Let me know. We'll try to address that." Tortilla says, "Hate us because our kicker's better. Hate us because our kicker's better."
Oh.
Baldo says this. Pittsburgh Steelers run the North. Prove it. Absolutely. Say what you want. From year to year, sometimes, guess what? The Ravens will win. Sometimes even the Bengals win it, Mike. But at the end of the day, historically, Super Bowl era, nobody does it better than Pittsburgh, baby. Baldo, welcome to the show. You know what? Mike, I'm throwing the game ball to Baldo right now. Don't shoot me. I just am. He's a new guy, and I'm throwing him the game ball. Baldo, you do have the game ball for the day. Milko Miko, I'm sorry, says Roman Wilson knows how to get separated 1,000%. And if we don't see Roman Wilson more this year, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Somber says this. I think Roman get more chances by default just due to the scheme, the need of wide receivers. But you know what? I agree with you, Roman, on Roman Somber. But didn't we need wide receivers last year? They avoided this guy like he was jock itch. You know what I mean? Mike, even times when he could have been in there, even when he was in there, he didn't get the looks.
They didn't even look his way. Yeah,
I agree. I don't. Again, different staff. Let's see if these things are different now. I don't know. We're a lot to learn, guys, about our team this year. Somber says Roman might get. Tyrone says facts. Tallman, Smith gone. Somber. Steeler Freak John says Caleb Johnson's low blocking ability makes him a liability for Rodgers. That's a good point, John. As always, John, with great points on the terrible board. Somber says this: you say that like that's something that can't be fixed. He never had to do it in Iowa. They knew that whenever they drafted him. He says it'll take time. That is Somber's defense for Caleb there. Also, Mark Malone says, have to draft offense heavy. That's what it seems to me. Just as Mike was stating, the ebbs and the flows of how this is playing out, it's going to seem like the draft is going to be where we need to address a lot of these offensive issues this year. But we will see. We will see. Tyrone said that's another thing to Mike McCarthy. Got no favorites and hope he makes guy. And that's what I like, too. I'm not saying that Mike Tomlin did, but anybody that's with an organization for a long time does. And anybody that's, you know what, as I kind of said, as I said before, Mike, I used to manage people, and you don't want to take sides. You don't want to have favorites. Sometimes you just do.
It just happens.
You're human. We're human. And I hope that makes you make a really good point, Tyrone. And I like that because I want to see now who was the favorites, who was getting special treatment, who didn't have to play a single preseason game because of the previous coaching staff. Let's see if these guys have to play in preseason now to build up to the season. Again, I'm not bad mouthing anybody. I'm just saying let's see what the changes truly are, how they come in this year. I think it's going to be interesting. Steel Loyal says KJ learning from one of the best blocking running backs in the league, Jalen Warren. He'll be fine. Mark Malone, I'd still sign Pierce or Daubs. He's been heavy on them guys, Mike. Pierce and Daubs, Mark Malone has.
Yeah, I'd take either one, and then if you get one of them, that opens up the first round even more to what then you can go, guard, tackle, wide receiver again, cornerback, opens up the whole buffet if you address that wide receiver position in free agency.
I agree. Let's move on to Somber. He says he doesn't have speed jukes, LOL. Steel Loyal says KJ is one cut and gone type of guy. Somber follows it up by saying he has pretty good stiff arm. That's about it at full speed. Steel Loyal says if KJ had speed jukes at that size, he would have went first round. Steeler Freak John said Mike had an awakening. Tyrone, I don't know what the awakening was.
I can't remember what I said.
Let's see. Tyrone says, he needs work on that. Somber, Ryan, you got it. Giant, not a dude. Somber, I have some Irish immigrant heritage on my mom's side. That's what I'm saying. People like the Irish here, but for whatever reason, the English always seems to be the old goat, not the new goat, not the greatest of all time. The English seems to always be the goat of jokes, like the butt of jokes, if you will.
Yep. Fuck the British. Fuck the English.
Vegas, why did you stop being just Ireland and become Northern Ireland? Good question. Steele says Ireland is Steelers nation, Tater. That's why I don't get this guy. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with Tater? He actually lives in Ireland, which loves the Steelers.
There's difference between Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Well, he's Northern Ireland.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said
that must be where all the tards live. They must have made all the retarded people move up above. That's the only thing I could think of. Steel Loyal says, I know you see all the Steeler bars, and that's what I'm saying. I think this guy just likes to be difficult. Is there anything about this Tater that makes you think that he's just not a person that likes to be difficult, Mike?
Fuck Tater.
That's our
No,
Tater.
I love Tater. He makes the day fun. Everyone does. But when you have that antagonistic heel from the outside come in,
Right.
another fan base, it makes it's so much more fun.
It's almost like
talk shit with.
It's almost like pro wrestling in a sense.
It is too. Yeah, it's great when there's that. You need that heel, and we got him.
We got a heel. And you know what? He's a lovable heel. That's our Tater Tard. Gotta love him. There he is, everybody. Let me do scoot up here to Mark Malone. Mark Malone says this. No, I'm a little ahead of myself. Somber says yes, but with 4 on the field, he might get more shots, is what I'm saying. LOL. There's Mark Malone. He says it's pretty damning of the Roman, but they treated Fry like a Klansman too. Also, right here, Ty says this. He says, agreed. We are agreed. We run and spread. Vegas says you can't treat anyone the same, but you can treat everyone. That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. Mark Malone, yeah, the British are a bunch of bastards. What else do we got here? Steel Loyal says, "Oh, where would this live be without Tater Tot? It wouldn't be the same." I could say that. Mike Tortilla says, "Insert Irish stereotype here." I like it. Steeler Freak says, "I feel that Rooney." Let me go right here. I feel that Rooney has been the true problem for the past few years. I realize that I'm in a fan base like the Cowboys, except Art is passive with his control and Jerry is aggressive. That's an interesting take, John. Interesting. Steel Loyal says, our favorite Browns fan. He is. Tater Tart is our favorite Browns fan. Love it or hate it. It is what it is. He's our Tater Tart. Let's go to right here, Mike. Where? We're caught up. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Tyrone says this: we need DBs and safety that get picks. Guys, you're right. And Caleb Downs is somebody that we talked about earlier in the show. He's somebody that did formally meet with the Steelers that people are losing their minds on. If we get him, I think people will be very happy, along with a lot of these other young gentlemen coming out into the draft this year, Mike. People that are in Indianapolis this weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium for the Combine, starting in 58 minutes officially here Eastern Standard Time. A few things, Mike, as we are rounding third on the show, a couple topics I do want to bring up before we do continue on. This isn't something that's interesting, guys. The UFL, everybody's familiar with the UFL. They had the USFL, they had the UFL, they had the XFL. They threw them all together, and now it's the UFL. Mike, these are the rule changes, of course, in spring football. UFL coming up not too long from now, Mike. In spring football, the UFL, this is the rule changes as of this year. Let me know if any of this translates to the NFL at all to you. Number one, the tush push has been banned. The tush push has been banned. I think the NFL loves the tush push, Mike. I think it's kind of their baby in a sense. I don't think that translates to the NFL, but the UFL did ban the tush push.
I like it being banned.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I like that it's being banned, or
in the UFL.
Yeah, in the UFL. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like it? You like it?
I'm not a big fan of it because it's never the rules of offsides and illegal formation are never applied to it in the NFL. There's so many times that play should be blown dead because or the offense should be penalized because they're lining up inside the neutral zone and it never gets called. If it's adjudicated fairly, run it, but they don't. And I think no officiating crew will ever call it fairly, so it makes sense for the UFL to get rid of it.
All right, I like it. I'm going to grab a couple messages because they refer to this. Tyrone is saying, okay, I'm glad I hated it anyway. Again, it's only in the UFL. Back in the NFL, we will still have the tush push, though. And Steel Loyal says, I only like the Steel City Shove when it works. I love the name. And Steel did, he did say previously, said Ryan's speed reading today. He is not getting behind. You know what? Every once in a while, I win this battle. And today I'm fighting it hard. We'll see if it continues through the end of the show. Mike, this is where it gets weird.
Okay.
3 rule changes we're going to talk about in the UFL. Let's see if they will translate over to the NFL. Guys, of course, number 1, they are banning the tush push. We got that out of the way. Number 2, in the rules being changed in the UFL this spring, 60-plus yard field goals are worth 4 points. Now, yes, this really changes the dynamic of football and gives it that XFL feel. But at the end of the day, Mike, they are making their field goals of 60 plus yards, which is a rarity, especially in a sub league, I would think.
Yeah.
But they will be 4 points for those teams that do kick 60 plus yard field goals in the UFL this spring.
I like it. I like it.
Here's why I like it, because
Okay.
it's not the NFL. I
Yeah.
like it because it is the sub league. I want to see how
Yeah.
these things work.
Yeah.
I like it.
They do gimmicky stuff down there in those leagues, and in the NFL, keep an eye on it, because the Sky Cam and all that shit that came from the XFL.
You're right.
And keep an eye on what these leagues are doing, and then steal it. If that 4-point field goal becomes very popular and the fans are eating it up and shit, and it's getting positive reviews online, and experiment with it in the preseason.
Absolutely. I
I'm
listen.
all
I dig
for
it.
it. I'm all for
Like
it.
I said, as long as
I like sports are fun and gimmicky. Make it gimmicky.
as long as it's going on in the UFL, and again, we could watch it play out. And if it's successful and everyone loves it, maybe we'll talk about translating it over.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I dig. And like in basketball, you shoot from further back and you make it, you get it more points. So it's similar in that sense. I like it in the UFL. We'll see. We'll see if we think that it could be translatable. Mike, number 3. Of course, number 1 was the tush push being banned. Number 2, in the rule changes in the UFL this spring, 60 plus yard field goals are going to be worth 4 points. Finally, number three on this list, Mike, of rule changes in the UFL for this spring. Number 3 is this. And this is, let me get it up. No punting from inside the opposing territory. It basically turns it into Florida down territory once you cross the 50-yard line. Again, very XFL feeling. It's extreme. It's very different. But do you want somebody telling you can't punt when you're trying to strategize? And maybe I'm at the 46 and I want to get you pinned down on a 2, and because of a situation I don't have a good running back. I don't like this, Mike. I don't like it. Number 3 on this list in the rule changes: no punting from inside opposing territory.
No, I do not like that at all, because that's taking away a weapon. If you have a punter and a special teams that are great at pinning their opponents inside, the 10, 5-yard line, you're limiting your ability to manage that game. You're taking a competitive advantage that I had, that I cultivated, that my player has cultivated, that my coaching team has come up with. No, I do not like that at all. It's I like scoring, but there's also, special teams is a huge component of the game. Defense is a huge component of the game. That right there can be a difference between a win and a loss. By pinning them back in there, having your defense get a quick 3 and out, and then you get a short field back. No, I that's changing football too much for me right now.
I agree with that. Like, let me get back on some of these comments just that are referring to these rule changes. John says this: 4 points for over 60-yard field goals. Interesting. I could see teams going backwards to score 4 points a game, and you can see how that could be counterproductive if it fails.
Take a penalty.
Absolutely. So again, I'm not against this, Mike. The field goal one, I really dig. Again, I think the tush push is kind of the NFL's baby right now. I don't think it's going anywhere. Teams voted last year, and it played out in its favor. But the punting one, I'm not a big fan of. Let's get on the board here. That's kind of sick, is what Steel Loyal is saying. Also, Steel Loyal saying I might watch a game or 2 over in the UFL with these new rule changes. Vegas says field goal snapper will snap to a guy 15 yards back for that extra points. Steel also says now that's a rule I can get behind. Put that in the league now. Mark Malone, hell, I kind of like the 60-yard plus field goal worth 4 points. It seems like that's one of the more popular ones here on the board today, Mike, is the 60-yard field goal. Vegas says quarterbacks taking sacks so they could punt. That's interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
You're on the 46-yard line, man. We want to punt this ball. Let's take a sack to get back across the 50. Who knows? Who knows what that would yield? Again, I don't love the punt rule. Tortilla says Waitman about to eat in the NFL, right? Let's go to Steel Loyal. Laugh my ass off. No punting like Madden. Right. Tyrone says, "Wait, you meant NFL with the tush push?" No, the UFL is out. They took it out. There's no tush push in the UFL this year. The Spring Football League, the sub league, there's no more tush push. Field goals beyond 60 yards, Mike, are 4 points, and you are no longer going to be allowed to punt once you get into your opponent's territory. Those are the 3 big rule changes in the UFL. Mike, I'm win, lose, or draw. I like one, I don't like one, and the other one's here to stay for a while anyway, so that's where I'm at with that. I like the field goal, I don't like the punt, and I think tush push is here for a few years anyway, because I think the league likes it.
Yeah, I'm the same way there with you. I like that field goal. It adds an element, and they're not guaranteed. Those field goals from 60 yards are not guaranteed. So I'm like that, but like taking away the punter, that's bullshit.
Does this give you more? This gives you more incentive to go out and get a top of the line field goal to really give value to that field goal kicker, Mike, whose position is very important, but they always get undermined because they're not the athletic guy making the plays and the moves. But at the end of the day, how often is the field goal the difference in a game? Maybe this just gives the field goal kicker a little bit more value, because now you don't only want a good field goal kicker, you want a field goal kicker who could get you 4 points if you need. If you're down by 3 points and you want to try to win a game or anything of that nature.
Yeah, look at the kicker from Dallas, Brendan Aubrey. He booms him, but he's in line for some big money. And then the kicker down in, oh my God, Jacksonville. He can boom them, but some of those guys aren't that accurate either. So it's a risk reward right there. I like it because some of them they can boom them, but their accuracy in that 45, 55 yard range is not the greatest. So you got to weigh that risk reward type situation there. More options for coaches to have to figure out on the sideline and watch them be confused. I'm all for. Do I go for 4? Do I go for 3?
See, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. That's certainly very interesting. I like it.
I'm in the 4 yard or the 4 point range, but do I keep driving it
right
to win to only take a 1 point lead or tie the game? Or do I sit back here and kick a field goal and then give my opponents a short field and shit like that? Yeah.
It feels gimmicky, but it could be very relevant. It could be very, you know what I'm saying? Where the other one that I don't like, the punting thing, I just don't like it. It's very gimmicky to me. Why would you take? I want to be able to punt from the 33-yard line if I want to punt from their 33-yard line, just because it's what So again, that's where I stand with all that, guys. Let me grab a couple more here, Mike. Let's see. Vegas says, is the UFL the Rocks League? Opie and Anthony, we the game announcers in the XFL. Remember the original XFL, the 2000? Boy, was that was interesting. Like, He Hate Me. They got to create their own names.
Yep, He Hate Me, baby.
He Hate Me. The most Rod Smart, I think, was He Hate Me. They had it. He Hate Me. I Hate Him. There was all different kind of these names. The second round, it came off more serious. Second time around. Yeah. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the Vegas? You know what's funny about that? I agree, but you know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody taking that away from me. I want to be able to strategically use the punt if I need it, no matter where on the field I would be. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The 2 Dum Yinzers.com. That's the number 2 DumYinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there. We got all of our social media links over there. I have my dumb thoughts. We're going to have articles from other contributors up on there soon. I'm going to have some mock draft. It's mock draft season, baby.
Yeah.
If you're here last year on that website, I had like mock draft Monday. I think this Monday we're going to have mock draft Monday making its triumphant return over at the 2dumyinzers.com.
All right, guys. Being today is the beginning of the combine in just 46 minutes, it officially kicks off in Indianapolis, Indiana. Today, Mike, this is going to be a draft type question. Of course, it's all relating with the draft, the combine, everything of that nature. Today is a draft question. So put on your thinking caps, everybody. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Here we go. Question of the day. This is in regards to the draft. This question of the day. So here we go. How many number 1 overall picks had ever won a Super Bowl? The question of the day. How many number 1 overall picks had went on to win a Super Bowl? Again, it's a tough one if you don't know the answer, but don't look it up. See if we could guess it. If you don't, maybe you might know it. Throw it up on the board. Throw your guesses up on the board. Question of the day, guys. How many number one overall draft picks actually went on to win a Super Bowl? This is just in Super Bowl era only. Super Bowl 1 through 60. The question is, how many number one overall picks won a Super Bowl? Tortilla on the board already got up a guess. He says 27. Let me grab a couple of these messages as you were thinking, Mike, as you were thinking on the board and at home. What's good, M Sparks? Always great seeing my man M Sparks on the terrible board. Great to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Vegas says, can you play your song as you end the show? It's my job. Absolutely. I'm like, we'll get that all set up as we do get ready to wrap up the show. Tortilla is saying 27 number one draft picks overall won the Super Bowl. Tyrone is saying 1. Vegas is saying 3. Somber is saying 15. Mike, what's your thought process on this question? Again, let me ask it so we can be clear. How many number one overall draft picks have won a Super Bowl?
This is a tough one. Very tough, because obviously you're just going to start immediately thinking about quarterbacks. But then you got how many running backs, wide receivers,
defensive players,
defensive linemen, offensive linemen, like guys that were cut, traded, gone on to win in other places. This is I'm going to go with I'm going to go with 21 in honor of Roberto Clemente.
Number 21 in honor of Roberto Clemente. Mike, is that your final answer? I have to know.
Yeah.
All right, let me lock you in. Mike, you were locked in on 21. Some other answers on the board, Mike. M. Sparks is saying not sure, 99, just a guess, of course. Somber with 15. Vegas 3. Ty 1. A lot of different answers on the board. Vegas says this: Bradshaw, Eli, Peyton for sure. Bradshaw, Eli, Peyton for sure. Tyrone is saying, I'm going to say 10. He's changing. He's going to go with 10. Vegas says, think of Super Bowl winners. That's right, guys. Think about the question. The question is, how many number one overall draft picks went on to win a Super Bowl? Is the question. A lot of different answers on the board. Mike, of course, went with 21. Guys, give you just another moment on the board. Throw up your guesses if you have them. Question of the day: how many number one overall draft picks went on to win a Super Bowl? Vegas says it's not 21 for sure. That's what Vegas is saying. All right, guys, here we go. How about I give you the names and then we'll reveal the answer? All right, here we go. How many number one overall draft picks won a Super Bowl? We'll start with Paul Hornung and the Green Bay Packers. He was a number one overall draft pick. He did win a Super Bowl back in 67. Bubba Smith, Terry Bradshaw, Jim Plunkett, John Mastuzak, Ed Too Tall Jones, George Rogers, John Elway, Troy Aikman, Russell Maryland, Drew Bledsoe, Keshawn Johnson, Orlando Pace, Peyton Manning, David Carr, Eli Manning, Matt Stafford, and Eric Fisher. That is a total of 18.
Damn.
18 is the number one answer to this question, guys. Number one overall draft picks to actually win a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era, guys, is 18 in total. So great job, guys. Vegas says, I don't even know how many, but 21 seems way high. Vegas says, I thought he said quarterbacks. I'm deaf. Somber says, insert Snoop Dogg gif. Who? You know what? Some of them guys, absolutely. For the most part, though, we did recognize a lot of the older names, the Ed Too Tall Jones, Bubba Smith, Jim Plunkett, but there are a few in there that certainly I didn't even recognize myself. Tortilla says he's going to change his answer to 29. Dang, I was close. Somber says also, I always forget about Elway, is what Vegas is saying. And again, so let me get back to who was really close. Somber was initially close with that 15. And when he said that, I was like, oh, now we're in the ballpark. And then somebody touched in the early 20s. So, I mean, these guys were in the right area. The final answer on that, guys, the correct answer, 18 overall number one draft picks had won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl era. Again, guys, just 40 minutes away from the official start of the combine all through this weekend. Day number one, of course, today is linebackers, defensive linemen, place kickers. Tomorrow, Friday is going to be defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Sunday, the offensive linemen to wrap up the combine. We got 2 weeks. Mike will be getting into the free agency, which is big for us, Mike. We'll see how this is going to affect our team here in 2 weeks. As the 9th of March is tampering period. The 11th is the official kickoff to free agency, and then less than 2 months from the draft right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So much going on in this offseason, so much forming this team to what it's going to be compared to what it was from, where we came from, where we're going. So much going on. We here at the Two Dum Yinzers are here for all of it, baby, as we always are, going into our 5th year this year and coming up on our big 1,000th episode later on this year. A lot going on. Glad to have everybody with us, and I hope everybody continues to stick with us through this offseason into next year. Mike, lots going on. Tyrone says, almost combine time, baby. That's right. Just less than 40 minutes away. Mike, I'm going to say a couple things, then we're going to start getting ready to wrap things up. Get that song ready for Vegas, or I think for Vegas, as we get ready to wrap it up. But Mike, I'm going to turn it to you in just a moment for your thoughts. What I'm going to say is this: Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike, they took another loss in spring training. They lost to the Braves yesterday, 3-1. Albeit they look good. Paul Skeens look good out there. Back at it today. They're playing right now. It was a 105 start against the Twins. Mike, Pirates baseball today, combine today. If you're a Pittsburgh sports fan, we're going to be busy throughout the day. Mike, let me turn it over to you for final thoughts, and then we'll get ready to wrap this thing up. Huh?
All right. Yeah, once again, great show, everyone. This was a whole hell of a lot of fun. Good draft talk. But God, I can't wait till free agency starts so can really figure out what this team is going to prioritize in the draft. Because, my God, if somehow magically we can land a Romeo Dobbs or an Alec Pierce, that first round is wide open now for any position because we have holes. There's holes at left guard, left tackle, wide receiver, corner, safety, middle linebacker, defensive line depth. So it's going to be a long, fun offseason, man. So stick around for it. But, man, it would not shock me if we go corner first round and have 2 lockdown corners, wide receiver in the second round. Oh, my God. I'd be a happy camper. 2 skill positions back-to-back. Just sign me up and then sign some big uglies on the D-line. Or draft some big uglies on the D-line. Oh, my nipples will be hard.
Well, baby. I was going to say, Mike, we're talking wide receivers and defensive backs, but at the end of the day, stopping a running game from putting up 250 yards.
That's our Achilles heel.
At our home field, I mean, so there is a lot to be addressed here.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but what if they go D-line again in back-to-back drafts?
They might.
Like, I would not, as crazy as it sounds, I would not be opposed to that.
They just might. Don't forget to check out the Two Dum Yinzers, guys. We are on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day, right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Also, as we begin to wrap things up on the show, Mike, we're rounding third base. I do want to say, don't forget our amazing friends over at Duquesne Pilsner. As you're getting ready to maybe just chill this weekend, watch a lot of the combine, seeing a lot of these younger players. Stop by Giant Eagle. You can get 6-packs, 12-packs of Duquesne Pilsner, and then also you can get cases anywhere. Cases are sold. The guys and gals over at Duquesne Pilsner do go out of their way to include us in their promotion, and we couldn't be more thankful. If you're not a beer drinker, stop by some of their social media. Just hit the follow button. We would be grateful. They would be grateful for all, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Duquesne Pilsner, Mike, made right here in Pittsburgh. We always have it on tap in the studio, and it says right on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, I do want to say this, speaking of social media, go check us out. We are everywhere. We're on Facebook. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Swing by, hit the follow button. Keep up with what the Two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And if you haven't yet, do hit the like button down below. Also, if you would, hit the share, hit the sub, share, and leave a comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it all. Thank you Thank you. Thank you so much. Mike, as we do get ready to wrap it up for the day of this Thursday installment of the show, everybody's getting ready to go home, get home from work maybe today, go check out the combine. 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock today is the combine as we kick it off in day one. It's linebackers, defensive line, place kickers. Again, tomorrow, defensive backs, tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. I know a lot of people can't wait for that. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, Mike, is the offensive line, bringing up the rear as always. That is Sunday to wrap up the combine. So a lot to keep your eye on if you're interested on a lot of this young talent coming out of college, heading into the draft. And we're going to be here in Pittsburgh seeing a lot of these guys here in just less than 2 months as they do start getting drafted to these teams in the NFL. Mike, very, very exciting stuff coming down the pike. We know we can't wait. I do want to say, finally, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to give an extra shout out to the people on the Terrible Board. The board Mike always keeps things interesting here on the show. They are, as I always say, the lifeblood of this show. I always say it and I always mean it. And finally, I do want to say thank you everybody at home, whether you be at home, the gym, the car, work, wherever it may be, guys. Thank you to everybody. You guys rock our world. All we could hope that we could do is just give you a fraction of what you give us, guys. You do rock our world. We hope we can do it back for you. Mike, final words, brother, before we do take off. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Thanks again, everyone, man. This is fun. Let's do this tomorrow. This is off season, baby. We're here all day, every day. Off season Steeler talk. I'm loving it.
All right, grabbing a couple of these last comments, and then we are taking off. Tyrone says we need to fill a lot of positions. We do. We have more holes than we thought that we were going to have this time last year. Tyrone says, be safe, peace, go Steelers. That's right, baby. Even Tater Tart. Thank you, brother, as always, from Northern Ireland. We just learned today our own personal Tater Tart, our own personal Browns fan, if you will. Tater Tart, everybody. And finally, John says, center or edge rusher are the two positions I will bitch about if they draft those players. I think a lot of people would agree with you, John. But again, thank you so much, guys. We hope to see everybody back tomorrow. We will be back at our regular time tomorrow to wrap up the week, as it is Friday. Mike, I do believe that is it. Am I forgetting anything, my friend?
I think we covered it all, brother.
All right, let me just grab this one last one. Vegas says the legal tampering free agent period starts March 9th, and they can sign. Yes, absolutely. March 11th is the official start of free agency at 4 o'clock p.m., and the 9th is legal tampering. So that's all coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll be on top of that and so much more. But do enjoy the combine today. Again, all through the weekend, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it and much, much more here on the Two Dum Yinzers. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, the Two Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. You got this song, Mike? All right, here we go. Have a good one, guys.
Stop and crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a Penske fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your brown mantis slice.